Ladies and gentlemen, we are now gathered to induct the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And ladies and gentlemen, this is truly a ceremony that I believe, while it may be for the future, it is for the present. Because we are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, I think one of the soon to be greatest backyard wrestlers in history. And we don't even know, just to the point that he's barely scratched the surface. And boy, did he certainly take his own scratches and turn it into his own victory, putting in that old bag back where he belongs on the extinction line for all legendary wrestling's A Nightmare on David Street there. We'll get to that later on. But it's time to, though, talk about our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And he's important for a couple of reasons. First of all, he is the newest member of our 10th class. He's the first member of the 10th class. And why is that important? Because the irony of that is that we last inducted a company into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, ROEW, and a man that our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame has been rallying about and basically screaming on rooftops about, that he's basically another one of these part of the old guard, and obviously somebody that he certainly has his eyes set on. Darkron, some would say maybe just piggybacked off yet another Hall of Fame. But our guest here, he didn't piggyback off that. He didn't use maybe his cameo on Friday Night Face-Off to join ROEW into the Hall of Fame. He did it by being the longest reigning Blizzard champion in history. Now a two-time ALW champion. And how about this, ladies and gentlemen? Our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame gets into the Hall of Fame on his own before Big Man Cam. I mean, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe Big Man Cam should be doing a cameo next, because after all, he's on the Dark 10 hour, and maybe he should do a cameo congratulating our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But I think the moment of August 17th is going to live on in backyard wrestling history when it comes to our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, because that was the moment that solidified where he's going to be, not just right now today, but probably over the next decade, because he was a man that was fighting death's door. He was literally knocking on heaven's door, to quote Bob Dylan and Guns N' Roses, but he found a way to still compete and to show why everybody, not only he is the evil angel, but he's the future of backyard wrestling by heroically winning that golden gauntlet, which has propelled him back to being on top in the Ohio backyard wrestling circuit, to now being a two-time ALW champion, in addition to being a Blizzard champion. Find me somebody right now in the Ohio backyard wrestling circuit that has won 3 world titles and held one, for going on nearly half a decade. We've talked about, ladies and gentlemen, on this platform, all these big names that have been champions for hundreds of days and year after year, names such as Craven Rage, the Backyard Nightmare, now Sinister, and Mr. Judgment, the Prophet of Purgatory, and a man that's coming on here Friday who would arguably say many is our Hulk Hogan of the backyard wrestling circuit, Ledger Shade. But yet it is Judas, the evil angel, not Sinister, not Mr. Judgment, not even the one and only Ledger Shade, that has been a champion, that has stood the test of time and has continued to reign supreme despite all the challenges and even death. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen, for our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. How many Hall of Famers in history literally fought death, looked death in the eye, because he's an evil angel after all, was able to beat death and come back and win a ticket to, being on top? And he's going to probably, the way he's going, permanently stays on top. Not only in the Ohio backyard wrestling circuit, but maybe indefinitely, because, we mentioned ROEW just a matter of minutes ago when it came to Darkron being at another Hall of Fame. Obviously, some would say, did he piggyback into another Hall of Fame off the coattails of somebody else's success? But that's important because a man that was at the center of that, Jack Delta, the outsider Jack Delta, obviously a legend in his own right, maybe in a small way, without Jack Delta even knowing it, the legendary Jack Delta, has he passed the torch to the evil angel Judas? I know that's a crazy thought, ladies. I know people are saying, boy, Tom, you've really lost your mind these days. But the facts are is that Jack Delta was the man on top. He was the man that sat currently in the pinnacle where everybody wanted, in the backyard wrestling circuit. But now that Mr. Delta, unfortunately, has had to exit stage left due to a very unfortunate injury, we wish Mr. Delta nothing but the best. We have been so grateful for his support of our platform and our community and our movement. But now we're looking at the man that I think could very well replace Mr. Delta on top, and who knows, maybe join him and Friday's guest Ledger Shade at the top of the Mount Rushmore. Because obviously we know that certainly Darkron, while he may or may not want to pass the torch to Judas, maybe after all, he was right. Maybe Judas was right a few weeks ago on Sportswire, because maybe Darkron didn't need to pass the torch to the evil angel Judas. As a matter of fact, without even knowing it, the outsider Jack Delta, did he just pass the torch to Judas without even wrestling one match? Without even one confrontation, one handshake? I mean, Darkron didn't even have to do anything. Maybe Judas is a Nostradamus after all, because after all, Judases are supposed to be Nostradamuses. So maybe Judas was right after all, because he can certainly forecast the future. But I think that's what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at a man that the way he conducts himself to be the future and the present. You know, last night on Sportswire Radio, Anthony Steele, the most controversial figure in backyard and underground wrestling history, even he had a few things to say about Judas. Everybody, everywhere they go, has something to say about Judas. Joshua Allen of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling said, you know what? A couple weeks ago, I want to hear Judas. I want to hear him speak. Yeah, he's interesting. Everybody's talked about right now trampoliners versus these veterans, these dinosaurs, such as in WCE. And I won't ask our guests right now at this point, because right now, this is a celebration. Because after all, this is Celebration Week on Sportswire Radio. We kicked that off last night with Anthony Steele, and we're continuing that with Judas the Evil Angel. But in some ways, people might look at some of the young whippersnappers. People might look at some of the trampoliners and some of these youth of the backyard and almost look down on them. But from what I've seen, ladies and gentlemen, in Judas's appearances on Sportswire Radio, that nobody seems to look down on him. Judas seems to be for real. Judas seems to be a guy that even, quote unquote, in his short time in the backyard wrestling circuit, these heavy hitters and these big names, they know who he is. They don't lump him in the same category as the trampoliners who might need to bounce off this and bounce off that, and maybe they will get bounced on their asses by WC or these other veterans out there. I don't know. But Judas the Evil Angel is in his own league. He's in his own category, because he seems to be proving every single time he does something, every single time he says something, you want to see him. You even want to pay to see him, because after all, maybe it's Judas we owe a huge thank you to. Maybe it should be God bless Judas, because, we've been talking about God bless Ledger Shade, and, we're so thankful that Mr. Ledger, Mr. Anniversary is coming back on Friday, but maybe it's Judas that we owe a huge thank you to, not yours truly for the Backyard Havoc, but it was Judas, the evil angel, is the reason why we're having the Backyard Havoc, and all these big names are going to be there. Anthony Steele, the most controversial figure in backyard and underground wrestling history, and Jason Storm, the Cyclone, the ROVW Midwestern Champion, and the Matchmaker, JX, and Justin Parsley, apparently, and Big Man Cam, of course, because that's where Judas goes. Big Man Cam, and some of the other young guns now. Is that the youth of the backyard? They're the now young guns. They're not the young whippersnappers, the youth of the backyard, like the trampoliners. Judas is leading some young guns like Trey Mysticality, even though Trey Mysticality and Judas don't see eye to eye quite. Holden Holloway and a slew of others, I'm sure, that'll be there in Bremen, Ohio, for what truly will be maybe the biggest fall super show in history. A slew of other big names will be there. Of course, Matthew Forsaken will be there. Mr. Judas' tag team partner, a man that he does respect after all. And Mr. Darkron, because after all, Darkron and Judas, they seem to be going hand in hand. But as I'm sure a slew of other big names in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit, they'll be there. I mean, even some old heads or old bags and dinosaurs, I'm sure from Indiana, that'll be there. The good news is, Judas, you don't work in Shelbyville. So unlike maybe some of your cohorts, your young guns that might be in Indiana that might have to go back up there, you don't have to worry about the consequences, but we'll have to say it. Because I'm sure there'll be an old bag or two, a dictator, a Vladimir Putin-like owner that might want to show up to the Backyard Havoc. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, there's no question that even that owner, that individual, you can probably figure out who I'm talking about. Even he should be saying thank you to Judas. But Judas, don't worry. If I would give you some advice, I would say don't worry about going to Shelbyville. You've got a lot of other things to work upon in Marion and Bremen and some other places. So we'll see what happens in Bremen. But there's no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, a slew of people owe a huge thank you to the evil angel Judas for kicking off now a movement, a full movement of super shows in the Backyard Havoc. And it's going to be one I'm going to remember, November 19th. You know, that alone should induct Judas into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, because after all, if it wasn't his appearance on Sportswire Radio and talking about Darkron that led us to having this event that everybody's talking about on Sportswire Radio. Everybody in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit is talking about this Backyard Havoc. I mean, Anthony Steele practically invited himself. I mean, who knew at that moment that Anthony Steele was even going to be back in the IMF? He was banished everywhere else, but wasn't banished to go to Bremen. He just invited himself because of Judas. I mean, after all, I'm sure even Anthony Steele somewhere is saying thank you to Judas. Maybe even James Taylor, the owner of ROEW, maybe he should thank Judas for, ROEW getting to 1,000 subscribers. Maybe it's James Taylor who should say thank you to Judas for, having ROEW play a huge role in the Backyard Havoc. Because after all, I mean, Darkron being shown on ROEW TV, that's kind of a hot topic right now. Well, because of what Judas has said about DKW and all the things there. And maybe when DKW gets to 1,000 subscribers, maybe when they're in the Hall of Fame next, will Judas now get to play a role in that? Will Judas get to be in that ceremony? Because after all, everybody else gets to claim they're multiple-time Hall of Famers. But Judas, ladies and gentlemen, is in his own league. Because what he's done heroically. You know, in basketball, they talked about 50-plus years ago, Willis Reed coming out, and he was on crutches and came out to propel the New York Knicks to their first ever NBA championship. But on August 17, 2024, Judas, just hours away from nearly dying, just hours after he was in intensive care, and who knew what was going to happen to him, didn't eat and didn't even know where his family was, found a way to win that golden gauntlet. And then just 2 short weeks later, wound up taking the ALW championship and making it relevant once again. Because after all, the previous champion, we don't want to give anybody any real credence of anybody that has to say F to a platform that basically, helped put All Legendary Wrestling on the map. Because after all, with all due respect, Judas, I mean, there's no question that we would have found ALW. You would have found your way onto Sportswire Radio. But there's no question that the relic that previously held the championship, he certainly wasn't going anywhere but maybe to the dustbin, which is pretty much where he's going to be. So we don't want to give really any credence or really mention the names of a D-level Fletch lookalike with a lot less hair, a lot less success. And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, nowhere near this stack, because I'm the only person at the age of 20 that had a stack, 19 a plaque, and 18 was on the top and sitting and having $200, $300, $400 steaks with some of the biggest CEOs in Wall Street and beyond. So let's not give relevance to those that are relics and are true definitions of dinosaurs, unlike maybe what some would say, those that you'll be seeing in Bremen, Ohio, or those trampoliners that'll be talking, and I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of that when they maybe have their own bouncies off their own ring when they go into a ring in Appleton, Wisconsin. So we'll certainly, I am sure, talk about that. But, ladies and gentlemen, Judas the Evil Angel is a man that I have no doubt that is going to be inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame time and time again. And we owe a debt of gratitude to this man. We owe a debt of gratitude to this young man, this selfless young man, who, despite his own family having shots taken at them and some disgusting thing that I'm sure that the previous relic that held the ALW championship, that was probably maybe, I guess, maybe an antique that was found on the Dark Den podcast, where Big Man Cam obviously co-hosts. And that's why Big Man Cam obviously is a big star there, but we haven't seen much of Big Man Cam's star power. Maybe his footprints, kind of like those big dinosaur footsteps that we haven't seen much on this platform. But Judas, in his heroic, selfless actions, put ALW back on the map once again. Judas gave young guns all around the backyard wrestling circuit a chance to show their bang, bang. And you know what? Also, ladies and gentlemen, why Judas is in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and why he'll be here time and time again, I have no doubt, is I am sure that we're not done seeing ALW square up with other companies in the Northeast and the Midwest, because there's some company that some guy whose also first name starts with an A and last name starts with a B, I'm sure had a lot to say about Judas. He had a lot to say about Judas. And I'm sure that when we have that show in summer, and thank you, Judas, for creating another summer super show for us. When that show is inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and that show takes place, I don't know when. Who knows when? Will it be on David Street? Will it be somewhere else? Will it be in State College? Will it be maybe in Michigan or somewhere other? I don't know, wherever. Maybe Canada. Because Big Man Cam wants to go to Canada, apparently. Whatever reason, Big Man Cam wants to go to Canada. Maybe we'll have it there in Canada. I mean, maybe Big Man Cam can have Border Patrol agents, maybe be referees in the match instead. But that's what we're going to have next summer. And I'm sure Judas will play a huge role in that. But ladies and gentlemen, the evil angel Judas has been waiting patiently. We're going to induct him into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame in a few minutes. But I think in one way, one door closes, another door opens. Friday was a devastating day in the backyard wrestling circuit. No doubt about it. Jack Delta is a man that meant a lot to our circuit. But I think now we are looking at the next man to fill the shoes of the outsider Jack Delta. We are looking at the future and the present. He was right after all, because, well, as he stated in his own way, Darkron didn't need to give him the torch. He wasn't even the person that, well, had the torch. And it seems to me that Judas is the one that took the torch without even having to do a single thing. And I'll call it here before I give you that long intro that everybody's waiting for. Ledger Shades here Friday, but I'll guarantee you this. The Hulk Hogan of the backyard and underground wrestling circuit, he knows who you are. He's paying attention to you. And I have no doubt that you very well could be on your way to being the next Jack Delta and being the next Ledger Shade. Because there's very few on this platform that dress like you, look like you, talk like you, and also walk the walk, especially when it came to dinosaurs that once upon a time roamed the earth and relics. And like I said, we're a family station here. This isn't Dark Den. We don't need to have, let's just say, I don't know, objects that maybe people would find if they were, I don't know, maybe on Viagra or Cialis, kind of maybe like the relic that held that championship. I mean, obviously you could see on his head. Maybe I could take a few of these and maybe give him some, and maybe after I could make a wish for him and maybe put some of this on his head. And maybe that'll give him a little bit more hair. But, obviously, we don't want to give D-level knockoff Fletches any more relevance, any more time, because they are, after all, yesterday's news. But I do want to say, I do believe in Make-A-Wishes. I do believe in giving back to our community. And we did give him, I think, more time than he could ever ask for. Because after all, Big Man Cam's too busy on Dark Den these days, figuring out what's his next cooking show. And we'll leave that at that, because I think Big Man Cam might like things with the C. But we're a family station here on Sportswire Radio, and we don't speak about those, because after all, we actually have subscribers, we actually have viewers, and those reasons why that we have viewers and subscribers is, ladies and gentlemen, the future and the present of the backyard wrestling circuit. And before I officially induct our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and give him that introduction, I could go on and on and on about the evil angel Judas. He might want me to, but he's a loaded gun, and he's a young gun, after all, with a microphone. And I know that he's waiting to say a lot of things right now. People are waiting to hear this young man because, after all, people are sick and tired of hearing me all the time on Sportswire. But now you've got a chance. It's celebration week. We're in the middle of it. And it's time to formally induct the first member of our 10th class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And memo, by the way, memo to one of the guys that's an owner that'll probably show up to Bremen, Ohio. Really Judas's event, but my event, ladies and gentlemen. You better believe I'm going to induct not only 91 members into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, but 91,000. Because I'll guarantee you, we'll have more and more people that'll be recognized in this Hall of Fame than anybody else's, any other Hall of Fames put together. So, as I've stated, I can go on and on and on, but it's time to formally induct the first member of the 10th class of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and our 90th member. He is the reigning, defending, all-legendary wrestling world champion. He's back on top. He's on top of the Ohio backyard wrestling circuit. He is the longest reigning Blizzard champion in history, the Evil Angel Judas. But now it is time to give you that Hall of Fame-like introduction in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. And I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, this will be a legendary-like introduction that's going to blow the roof off everywhere in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it. So, with Sports about number one sports show, the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the first member of the 10th class, and the 90th member into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. He is, simply put, the reigning, defending Blizzard champion, the now two-time all-legendary wrestling world heavyweight champion, the future and the present of backyard wrestling, the Angel Judas. The champ is here. Congratulations, my friend. You're the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Reverend Tom, dude, thank you so much. Every time I come on Sportswire, it's like that introduction just gets better and better and better. I don't know if you can tell, but underneath this suit, there are many goosebumps forming just because this is prime time. This is the number one sports radio show. This is Sportswire with the Reverend Tom Bryce. And now we get to grace everyone that is watching with the presence of the evil angel Judas. So, Tom, thank you so much for everything that you do for ALW, for Backyard Wrestling, for the evil angel Judas. Tom, I like to take this time to appreciate you, sir, because without you, there would be no evil angel. There would be no Judas. People wouldn't be talking about me if it wasn't for Sportswire.
Well, you would have made your way onto the platform. There's no question about it. You would have made your way onto the platform, but obviously you've been doing the work lately. I mean, just what a heroic effort to go out there, win the Golden Gauntlet after facing death. Everything you've went through, and obviously everything that was thrown at you, the way your family was insulted there, and, you know, just those objects that we won't basically talk about here on this platform that was tried to put into your, and, you know, body, and just, you know, things that were talked about. That may work on Dark Den Hour when Big Man Cam's over there, but we're not going to repeat those things here on Sportswire. But obviously, you certainly took yesterday's news and put it out to pasture, and obviously, you know, relics are back in the old folks' home, and, you know, we don't want to give any more credit to basically you know, irrelevant D-level Fletch knockoffs. But I will ask you the question. Yes, when you cross me on this platform, just to let you know, When you cross me on this platform, I will bury you. Just like speaking of legends that are still relevant, that actually are relevant and look young, LL Cool J, one of the greatest of all time, actor, rapper, he's buried. Artist after artist. When I drop bars, just like LL Cool J, he's from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn. So just put it out there. You cross me, you mention me in a way that I'm not going to repeat on this platform, I will drop bars and I will bury you. Rest assured, like anybody really will be forever a relic. But yes, thank you very much for coming on my platform. Yes, thank you very much for coming to Sportswire and getting relevant. Now you can go back to the fan conventions and asking for an autograph for Mr. Hogan. Yes, I don't need to give you an autograph. I'm sure, though, Mr. Hogan will give you one, but you can go back to the fan conventions. We're going to go back to real relevant wrestling talk on Sportswire Radio, but that's what we wanted to say here on this platform. We move on. Wink and a nod. Thank you very much. You know who you are. We appreciate it. Nothing personal. But for those that are listening and watching, talk about the Evil Angel Judas, what it means to you to be the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Oh, man. You know, when something big happens, I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, and it may sound very repetitive, but it's one of those things where you can plan what you want to say weeks in advance if you know what's going to happen. Like if you have to give a best man speech at a wedding, it's one of those things where, oh, you'll go in, I know what to say. This is one of those moments where I'm just sitting back in awe because, granted, I've only been wrestling in the backyard. I mean, just like everybody else and all these legends in the backyard starting out when they were young, I didn't go into ALW until I was 18 years old. And currently at 19 years old, I'm not only the longest reigning Blizzard World Heavyweight Champion, but now a two-time ALW champion. By the way, thank you, Dale. We all know who you are for making this belt. We really do appreciate it.
We love Dale. Dale, we love on Sportswire. Shout out to Dale.
as you know, Holden Holloway, something happened with the other.
Yeah. Holden was here. We spoke. We know him, yes.
Including legal. But being inducted into the Sportswire Hall of Fame, it's crazy to me because it's the Evil Angel, Judas, sitting next to countless names. We can talk about Anthony Steele, who was on this show last night. Beautiful, by the way. What a way to start off Appreciation Week on Sportswire. Yes. Anthony Steele is always great to see. RW got inducted. There's so many people.
James Taylor, a man you've had words with. Aaron Blaze is in the Hall of Fame, a man you obviously know very well. And I know Mr. Kron's in there, and obviously he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Tom, if you can revoke
He's been coming on here to be fair, he's been coming here probably before you debuted in ALW. He's been here for like almost 2 years. I mean, he's been here a long time.
Yeah, it's true. And he's also been roaming the earth since the dinosaurs came. But
that was the relic, though, that you put to pasture out last month on the ALW TV. But go ahead.
But at the end of the day, I want to take this, and this you can see this in character, out of character, whatever.
Sure.
This is just the way I see it. If somebody like me, a little diabetic boy from a small town, if you want to put it that way, somebody who wasn't the smartest, wasn't the fastest, isn't the strongest, throughout high school wasn't the guy. If this goes out to anybody watching, whether you are a wrestling fan, whether you're a sports fan, whether you are even if you're just stumbling across this because Mr. Reverend Tom Bryce is almost at 1,000 subscribers.
I'm almost there. So if you're here right now and you want to hit the sub button, I would appreciate it. So hit the sub button for me. Thank you.
At the end of the day, I just hope that this can show that there are countless endings for people. This isn't my ending at all. This is quite the beginning. But you can shift whatever cards you are dealt in the game of life, if you want to say. You can take whatever cards you have and make them your own. I was handed very crappy cards at a young age, and here I am with an ALW championship 2-time, and now I'm in the Sportswire Hall of Fame. If this isn't change, and if this isn't a revolution to show people that you can do what you want to do, then I don't know what is. At the end of the day, I am very appreciative of being inducted into the Sportswire Hall of Fame. Before, people like a big man Cam, but
in the Hall, I pointed out, Big Man Cam on his own is not yet in the Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, I mean, listen, there are names like Ledger Shade, a living legend. He's not yet in the Hall of Fame. Now, that's on his own. Well, that's on his own decision. Ledger's like he is the Hulk Hogan of our yard. Ledger, when he wants to be in the Hall of Fame, that's a different. It's up to Ledger. But he has not wanted yet to be in the Hall of Fame. He's been very vocal about that. But you were in the Hall of Fame though before a name like Big Man Cam on his own is not yet in the. Jacob Collins, who's going to be in Havoc, he's not in the Hall of Fame on his own yet. A man that you're ahead of. I mean, there's a lot of names out there that you're in the Hall of Fame before they are. I think that's a huge thing to talk about.
Right. And like I said, I'm 19 years old. I've got a long way to go in this backyard and underground scene. I've got a long way to go just in life.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, like you said at the beginning, Reverend Tom, this isn't going to be the first This is going to be the first time I'm inducted in the Sportswire Hall of Fame. There will be many other times, but this moment, I just want to prove to everybody that you can do what you set your mind to. And at the end of the day, if you are handed some bad cards in life, you can change it and make it the best.
And I think before we put the certificate up and to obviously formally give you that, the proclamation, I think also in a lot of ways to break the fourth wall for a little bit here, I think that that's what the Hall of Fame really is here on Sportswire for. We really do, in my belief, want to have an outlet for people that they can achieve something and they can use it in whatever way that they can in life to be successful. I talk about it all the time on the Sportswire radio shows. I mean, I've done so many of them at this point, but, we have an NCAA basketball player who's in our Hall of Fame. We have a coach for the United States men's amputee soccer team. We have podcasters. We have other athletes. So it's not just backyard, underground. We have some indie and some pro guys in the Hall of Fame, but it's really for everybody that's meant something over the past nearly 6 years on this platform. And we have a few companies, well, obviously ROEW, CCW, TBW. We thank them for all of their support over the years. But this is for people that maybe they were growing up in a small town or a different place. I talk about all the time my upbringings in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was, life was what it was, and I believe that, I was able to have some success in life. And if I can pass it back, I'll use it because I know my mother will tune in later on at 4 o'clock in the morning or so when she texts me that, she asked me, well, why don't you slow down? Why don't you retire? Why don't you take a step? And I've been making this kind of fun with it. I've been having jokes with the past couple of months and everybody kind of laughs at it. But the truth is that I'm not going to retire. The truth is that, I'm not going to stop because it's not about me. This platform isn't about me. This platform has grown because people want an outlet, and I'm about giving back to others because I'm fortunate that I can do that. I'm fortunate that I can be a support system for other people, the merchandise, the shows, whatever else we can do. And I think that that's what I'm here for. And that was my answer to my mother is that, look, I don't think I can stop. I got to give to others. And I think that Sportswire Radio, and specifically this Hall of Fame, is about that. This Hall of Fame is about giving people an opportunity, giving people a chance to showcase that they are worth something and they are successful. Because I think also far too often, especially in our backyard and underground wrestling circuit, there's all this talk about toxicity. Nobody gets along. Everybody's at odds. Nobody really cares. Everybody's really backyard and underground guys and gals are made fun of. It's not real. It's make-believe. But the truth is, it is worth something. It is something. And it means a lot to everybody here, and it means a lot to our community. And I will continue to more or less dispel the notion that 80% or more of the backyard wrestling circuit is toxicity. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because I'm here every night, and I speak with guys who are on the trampolines. I speak with guys who are on the ground like ALW. I speak with guys that are hardcore, deathmatch, no ring, no rope, ring. You name them, I speak with them. And this is the only place that everybody exists. This is the only place where you get a chance to hear all these different people from all different backgrounds and all walks of life. You heard Tarzan Duran here in the same sentence. You heard guys like legendary backyard wrestling's The Alpha. You heard guys like Jesse Daniels, Jimmy Controversy from GTS, Andrew Lovelace, and the Hammer, Max Strong. But also you hear from Judas. You hear from guys like D Savage, Anthony Steele, Aaron Blaze. The IMF boys are here. Sean Jolie, another guy that's a friend of Mr. Clown's. I'll get to him later. Ledger Shade, Atomic Titan, Joshua Allen, Sinister Craven Rage. Those boys in Kewanee, Illinois. STBW, not to be confused with STP. But this is the only platform. I can keep going, but I'm not going to. It's your moment. But this is the facts, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only place, and I will continue to dispel that notion that there's toxicity. I will continue to dispel this notion that there's no support system in the backyard in the underground, because I provide more on a daily basis to wrestlers of a support system and a comfort than sometimes their own operators. No shade on those operators, no shade on those promoters. They can do what they want. But on this platform, people know they come here. It's a safe haven. And anybody that says that this platform or yours truly is a bully, let me tell you something. You don't know what bullying is. I'm from Brooklyn. I've seen the projects. I've seen the Latin Kings. I've seen the Bloods. I've seen the Crips. I go out every single day. I see the homeless. I see the people yelling at me every single day. I don't know if they're going to shoot me or not. I go out at 3:30 in the morning, and I got no problem with it. So when you say that this platform of yours truly is a bully, I got a bridge to sell you. You got another thing coming, to quote Judas Priest. And Judas, you are in the Hall of Fame just like Judas Priest, and we are so happy to have you in the Hall of Fame. But now it's time to present you something that I do want to show for everybody why officially this is an historic night. Only if you insist, though, Mr. Judas. Only if you insist.
Of course. Mr. Reverend Tom, this is your show.
No, it's the community show. But there you have it. You are the 90th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I will send this to you when we are off the air. You have my John Hancock. You have today's date. You have the Sportswire Radio logo. And congratulations. You are officially now in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I think 90 is an important number because it's the first of a new class, the 10th class. So there you have it.
Wow. Tom, it's still surreal to me. You know, like going back to it, it's surreal. It is truly this is truly something special, man. I know some people might be watching this saying, "Oh, it's wrestling, it's fake. This is just a certificate from a talk show." It's more than that. This is something that proves that at 19 years old, and some people would say a rookie in this industry, I'm doing something right, and that means that what I'm saying on Sportswire, what I'm doing in ALW, what I'm doing in Blizzard, maybe what I'm doing in the future, that matters. And at the end of the day, this is truly something that will stick with me till the end of time.
And you are going to have this till the end of time, because I ain't going anywhere until they put me in the coffin. Maybe Sinister wants to put the boys in Kawani in a coffin, but until I go into the coffin, nobody's going anywhere. And we definitely want you to have that there. Certainly off the air, we'll take care of that. But obviously, let's talk about for a few minutes before we get the chat back up in here and everybody says hello to you. What does it mean to you now officially, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform you also helped build, Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters? How does it feel to be back on top, to now be a two-time ALW champion?
Man, there's only one other person in ALW that can say that they are a two-time champion, and that is the Hollywood One, Holden Holloway.
Yes.
Some people would argue that Holden Holloway and I have been I don't want to say founding fathers, but let's say the top guys in ALW. We are the guys that put the company on the map, and I'll give Holden that respect. I do respect Holden. First guy I ever wrestled in ALW. Yep. Probably the guy that put me on the map in that first match with him for the ALW championship. But the direction that ALW's been going, it's not been a good one. And I'm sure, like, you watched the match, Tom. You know, we just
I watched it twice.
Objects that were used in that match, that's not wrestling. This is wrestling. What you're looking at right here is wrestling. And this is the new generation. This is the revolution, not only for ALW, but for backyard and underground wrestling in general. Look at what STBW is doing right now.
I think a lot of people are talking about that. I think people want change. I think it's like anything right now. People want change. They're tired of the status quo. What you're doing, what Ace Reed is doing in Australia, what Aaron Blaze has been doing, even though he's a veteran, but he's a young talent. Yeah. What obviously Holden Holloway's been doing. I think we talked about STBW, what they're doing. I think that you are seeing now this young guns, this youth of the backyard that's revolting right now against the status quo. Some would say the status quo is Darkron, and names like, let's say, Sean Jovi, who's here tomorrow, and Sinister, and Nicholas Crenson, and the man that you toppled, who shall name nameless, and a list of others. I mean, I think that people right now, they want change. I mean, James Taylor, some would say he's part of the status quo. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that want change, and it seems like now we're on the premises, I think, of younger talents taking over. And I think it's you. I think it's Holden Holloway, Trey Mysticality, Ace Reed, I mentioned. I certainly think the guys at STBW are at the top of the list with that. And you can go so on and so on. I think that that's what we're seeing right now over these past few months, is that now we're starting to see a youth of the backyard, a bunch of young guns, a new young revolution that's on the premises, and it's actually here right now.
At the end of the day, Reverend Tom, wrestling is wrestling, and that is a phrase that is thrown about mostly from veterans. And mostly when you hear the term wrestling is wrestling, it's from a veteran saying it's a grind. It's
Yes.
gonna hurt. It's gonna take a toll on your body. You have to pay your dues, stuff like that. Us young guns, I like that term. I think this newer group, this newer generation of wrestling, of wrestlers, I think young guns is a great way to put it. Maybe, I don't know, some future merchandise, but
Well, somebody can work on that in the merchandise department.
we do pay dues. We do pay our respects. We do the same thing that veterans do. Now, veterans, they have a hard time with young people like myself, like the people over at STBW, like a Holden Holloway, like a Trey Mysticality. Yep. But they have a hard time gripping the fact that wrestling is probably the hottest that it's ever been in, I would say, even in the veterans' time, even in the Attitude Era, if you even want to go.
I think that, yes, I think there are a lot of people right now that this is the most exciting time in wrestling, I think, in people's like lifetimes, because you're just seeing so many places to get wrestling, so many outlets that, 5 years ago, even we didn't have. All we had was really, Ring of Honor, and we had WWE. Now there's so many forms of wrestling that are serious. Impact is back. They're working with WWE, AEW for what that's worth. Major League Wrestling has started to come up and be legitimate. Jacob Fatu just came out of there. You've got Ring of Honor still. You've got Japan. You've got so many outlets. I think that's kind of trickled down to our community. I think that's why people are it's exploded in interest and demand.
Right. And wrestling is something special. Whether it's
Absolutely.
in the backyard, whether it's in the yard, on a trampoline, in the ring, wrestling is something special. And what I'll say to any veterans listening, and this is not only my words, this is the mind of every young backyard, whatever ring yard wrestler there is. We all have the same passion for it. And I respect all the veterans. I mean, other than, your Dark Bronze world, but we'll get into that later.
I want it because Holden had a different take than you. We'll talk about that in about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sure everybody's waiting for me to talk about Darkron. I'm sure Darkron.
Yes, pretty much. I think that's where you're going to see guys like James Taylor walk in. I'm sure that's what's good. Yep, they're waiting for it. Yep.
But that ammunition, there's only one veteran I dislike. That's Darkron. Every other veteran that I've met, I've been super cool with. But at the end of the day, us young guns, we have the same passion for wrestling that the veterans do. The veterans, they've put in the time, they put in the blood, they put in the sweat and tears. But now it's time for the young guns like me to put our blood, to put our sweat, to put our tears into this industry, because we have passion, we are hungry, and we are ready to take over the wrestling.
But you know what? And we're here, by the way. If you are here right now, I want you to hit the sub button for ALW for a second. Let me kick the ballistics for a second. ALW is a few subscribers away from 150. So if you're here for the first time, do me a favor. Go hit the sub button for them. I know we're all having fun at me and the 1,000 subscriber road to it, and everyone, it's funny, hee ha, but I have subscribers, and I want my subscribers, who I have a lot of people on YouTube I see right now. If you have not yet, go hit that sub button for me. All Legendary Wrestling. It's not hard. It doesn't take and cost a single thing to go out there and hit the sub button for ALW. So I see a lot of people right now. We're on X. We're on Twitch. I'm on Sportzwire Radio. I see a lot of listeners. I got about 30 plus listeners out there. So go out there and right now hit the sub button for me, because we want to support those that support us. And ALW has been a friend to Sportswire. and everybody in the locker room, so I can break the fourth wall on that, has been very supportive of what we have here. So that's for sure. We want to thank our friends here in ALW for that. So please hit the sub button for them. Okay, so we'll definitely make sure we do that. But no, I that you've got passion that in many ways mimics what this platform has become. I mean, listen, I morphed from being into a college sports, independent British wrestling platform to really doing mostly backyard and underground. So I think that shows in the passion. But let me get to the chat here. I do want to get to the chat. I got a lot of people. Let's clear the chat. A lot of people want to talk to you, and then we'll go into ALW biz. Then we'll get to Mr. Kronk, because I definitely want to get to Mr. Kronk.
Oh, that will be a hot minute.
That's going to be a conversation. Get the water ready. Ox McCoy, of course, made us the beautiful logo here. I got to give Ox a big shout out for it. Even though Ox is a veteran, but we definitely love one veteran here on this platform. You definitely want to be on his side, by the way. You definitely want to be.
I've seen the stuff that he does. I do not want to be on the other end of a gusset plate or a light. I've seen the stuff he does in the ring and outside the ring with the beautiful Sportswire logo. So
yes, he is a good friend of our show, and we love Ox on this platform. I think I'm almost an honorary sinner because of Ox, so I do want to make sure I give Ox a nice little shout out, because I do have the logo that he gave us here on Sportswire Radio right there. So I'm going to put it up right on the screen just for a minute or two, because we have Ox and a bunch of people in the chat. So what a nice little logo there. Thank you, Ox. I've been using it for all the internet radio boys, and they love it. Zilla's in the house. Zilla is existing. She's real. And she was on Jack Delta's stream a couple weeks ago. And we would like to say hello and congratulations. We thank Zilla for that. And this guy here apparently chimes in. Aaron Blaze, ALW champion Aaron Blaze. You know, if he's not got enough problems where Anthony Steele is basically, I mean, the way Anthony Steele responded to him, I mean, was certainly unexpected. But now he's basically saying he's going to take your spotlight. I mean, that's not very headline-like, right?
I mean, he wants to call himself the headline. There's no other way to make a headline than fighting the evil angel Judas, whether that be in a backyard, whether that be in your company, whether that be in my company. And Aaron Blaze, I respect you. I really do. I've seen the stuff that you've been doing. We follow each other on Instagram, believe it or not.
He's been supportive of the young guys. He was on this platform last week and said he was very supportive of the movement of the young guns, the youth of the backyard. So he's on your team, but there's no question he doesn't work for ALW, and he wants another belt to his arsenal.
I mean, I saw your Sportswire episode. You know,
you were there. You were in the chat. Yes. On TikTok, everybody's talking about that on TikTok. Almost 1,000 views, by the way.
You know, ALW champion Aaron Blaze, that may be too many syllables for everybody's liking. The Marin, Ohio crowd, I know, definitely won't like that. But, you know, if we want to, this is my take. And Aaron, if you're still watching this, I mean, you are the headline, so you might be going to try to attach yourself to another headline to try to get another headline to your name. But Aaron Blaze, if you were still watching, I mean, if we want to show the world of backyard wrestling who the top young guys are, definitely your name is on that list. And if we want to have a match for this ALW championship, I mean, Aaron Blaze, you know where to find me. You know where to message me. I would be 100% down, and I'm sure the universe, the backyard.
Oh, my God. Sportswire, this community would the roof would be blown off if that was the case between you and Aaron Blaze. Forget about it.
Aaron Blaze, you know where to message me. If you want to have a match, just know you will not be walking out ALW champion Aaron Blaze. Maybe broken neck Aaron Blaze, or twisted ankle Aaron Blaze, or maybe I'm done with my career because Judas beat me so bad Aaron Blaze. But, you know, I'm always down for a challenge. Aaron Blaze, you know where to find me.
Oh, I'm sure the chat now is going to start. We'll see. We'll get to that. By the way, if you're here, that is the ALW Instagram page. Go follow them. Trust me on that. Yes, hello there to Aaron Blaze. Definitely Jack Delta. We wish him well. Jack Delta, I think it's a good time to ask you, Jack Delta, full disclosure, you were there actually when that happened. I mean, Jack Delta, I mean, you want to talk about what his impact was, and also just your thoughts on him having a partially torn meniscus, which has now forced him to vacate the ROEW championship. Your thoughts on that situation?
Absolutely. Peeling back the curtain a little bit, Jack Delta is somebody that I truly do respect, whether that be as a character, as a person, but especially as an in-ring talent. And the best way I can put it is Jack Delta is the workhorse of the backyard scene. He is,
Sure.
I would say he is the number one guy. I mean, if you don't see Judas as the number one guy, it's definitely Jack Delta.
I think he's like the Bret Hart of the backyard scene, in the fact
absolutely.
that he's wrestled time and time again, and he's been here, and he's kind of been that consistent. I almost kind of say after the GBYWN era, he's been the guy that's consistently been around these past 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, and so as Tom just said, if people didn't know, I was at that ROEW taping. I was there just seeing everything out. I was in talks with ROEW to see if we can make anything happen, whether that be commentary, ring announcing, wrestler, just any idea that ROEW had for me, I would be 100% down to do, because Ohio, Michigan, not that far. But anyway, it was actually Jack Delta who requested that Judas drive up there to meet everybody in ROEW, and he was one of the first hands that I shook at the ROEW taping, before any of the matches, before any of the tapings. And I'll peel back the curtain even more. The true reason why I was there was I was going to get more ring training, especially with the ROEW guys, because they are phenomenal.
They're like, I mean, I say it all the time on Sportzwire. They're pound for pound, like, just what they do there. And I said it in the speech on Friday, just what they do there in ROEW, just, James and all of them, just incredible work.
Right.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And if I were to learn from anybody, it would be the Jack Deltas, the good guy CJ Blacks,
Sure. C Money, by the way, C Money,
another phenomenal talent. But the reason why I was there was Jack Delta and I were supposed to work a let's say a mini feud at Backyard Havoc. It was supposed to be a big surprise with the new guy in town versus the guy in town. And we were working on how we wanted to promote it, how we were going to do a match. He was even working, he even took me to the side and we started talking about how to properly do a moveset in the ring, how to have great ring psychology, because that's something else about Jack Delta. He has fantastic ring psychology.
Yes, he tells me all the time I don't know any of this stuff, and he's right. I don't. I don't.
But he kind of, like you mentioned it before, Jack Delta kind of passed me the torch without me doing anything.
Yes, I do believe that.
Whereas he kind of took me under my wing for that day. I mean, during the tapings, we sat next to each other and we were the crowd, with the audience there. And we talked throughout the matches, saying, "Oh, this was a really good spot. This was stuff that I need to work on, the stuff he needs to work on." And then I was actually one of the people filming the match, him versus.
Yes.
If you didn't know, I was the guy on the side.
I think you were like the first cameraman I think ROEW's had in God knows how long. It's like one that I recognize. I'm sure management will want to beat me over the head for saying, well, we were somebody else that recent memory. But you were the first one I could recall in who knows how long.
But anyway, so I wanted to help out with the filming of that match. And when I say, and people like kids these days say, grand people have an aura around them. When Jack Delta steps through the curtain, there is an aura. You get the Tom Bryce goosebumps when you do that introduction. We even filmed a video, a little hype promo package of just a little stare down between him and I. And when I tell you that I was starstruck, I was. But Jack Delta wrestled a fantastic match against Soldier.
Yeah, it was a great match. I mean, there's really, unfortunately, an accident happened and things happen in the ring. It's not Soldier did nothing wrong. It's just
exactly.
He shouldn't feel that way. And I told Soldier that actually after the match, when it aired and what happened. It's just these things happen, unfortunately.
And Jack he made it very clear that it wasn't anything Soldier did. We as the recording people and crowd members, when Jack went down, we thought it was just a spot in the match where they both were down. We thought he was selling because Jack Delta is that good at what he does.
Yeah.
And it turned out he wasn't okay, and it wasn't anything we saw. It was him saying, "Hey, something went wrong." And I haven't seen anybody with as much passion as Jack Delta, because he immediately got up. We kept telling him to stay down, figure out what's going on. And Jack, he was like, "No, I'm finishing this match. Soulja came out all this way. We are finishing this." And the ending, I mean, he posted something on his Instagram story where it was the three different times you saw his leg buckle, and it to me, that was one of the scariest things that I've seen, because telling somebody to stop doing something they love is tough.
For sure.
Jack, screw it all.
And you can relate to that because of what you just went through. You can relate to that more than anybody because you saw death at its door.
Right. And I don't want to take the spotlight away from Jack Delta in this case, because at the end of the day, he can't go. It's in the best interest for him not to wrestle.
Obviously.
Granted, was I in the same boat? Absolutely. But this is something completely different. And Kyle, if you are watching, I know this might be made into a highlight reel afterward.
Probably.
But
probably.
Kyle, especially everybody on Sportswire, especially everybody in the chat, ROEW, ALW, everybody at Backyard Havoc, heck, even the whole
DKW. I mentioned DKW
fan base industry. We wish you nothing but the best. And I'll say it right now, that as soon as you get better, because I'm planning on getting more ring training. We got Backyard Havoc coming up. And even after that, I still want to pursue that. If you still want to work a feud and work that story that we built, the beautiful feud that we had, great ideas for. I
know a lot about that feud. I'm biting my tongue here because I know a lot about that feud. And I think that would have been something that would have been very exciting. And unfortunately, it's another kind of Jack Delta Ledger shade what if. And Ledger's here, and they had a stare down on TBW TV last year, and we didn't get to see that match. And that was a big what if. And unfortunately, this is another big what if. And we didn't even get the stare down aired on anywhere on ROEW TV and such. That's another disappointment on that. But obviously, we wish Jack, again, nothing but the best. Jack has been on Sportswire many times, and we hope it works out.
At the end of the day, I texted you this before we got on, and
yes,
we talked about what we're going to talk about.
We did. If
anybody can come back stronger and better than ever, it is Jack Delta. And so, Kyle, I wish you nothing but the best, man. At the end of the day, I'm not upset. I understand things happen. But as soon as you get better, man, and you're back in that ring, you already know Judas will be calling that name. And the Outsider versus the Evil Angel would definitely – sorry, Aaron Blaze, that is the headline.
I think that is a match in the Midwest and everywhere else, from Baghdad to Brooklyn, we would all be looking forward to. And we definitely love Jack Delta on Sportswire, and we definitely hope to see him here soon, and we hope he's doing better. Yes, we agree, Zilla. Thank you, Zilla, for letting us know. We're going to get to this man in a little while. I got a big chat.
Next.
We got a lot of people in the chat. People were waiting for this one. It was like, Steele, it is a celebration week. Steele was here yesterday. You're here today. This Dinosaur, Sean Jovi is here tomorrow. Anthony Steele, you and him probably share the same philosophy on Sean Jovi. And we got the IMF boys are here Thursday, and then Friday, Ledger Shades.
Great week of sports.
I said it on Anthony's show last night. I think this is the greatest week we're going to have because we have so much. It's every night. People were telling me, oh, you've got the Make-A-Wish shows. You've got all these guys. I don't even know who they are. Well, guess what? You got all the big names this week. You got Anthony was here yesterday. You're here tonight. Sean Jovi's here 8 o'clock tomorrow. You got Thursday, the entire IMF plus Steele and Jovi and STBW guys and Soldier and Omen and Justin Parsley. And then Friday, you got Ledger Shade. I don't know what more you could ask for. And then you've got the best
where you just hit every single big name there is.
We got them all. We got them all. And notice Big Man Camp's still on Dark 10 Hour.
I mean, stay there. Him and Silverwolf, I'm sure they got a little secret thing going on. So.
They have the same interest. They have the same interest
that they have.
Yes, they do. The Codster's here. How you doing, Codester? Good to see you, my man.
Manager, appreciate.
We love Blizzard. We love our friends in Blizzard. We'll give them a plug. My buddy Chase Wakefield, who says he wants a match with you. He's in Pennsylvania via Maryland. Chase is here on October 6th. I'm sure he'll address that. Chase is from VTW, DBW. He's been around the block. He's a guy, a younger veteran, but he is a man that has actually wrestled Mr. Jack Delta. He was wrestled Jack Delta.
October 6th, correct?
He's here October 6th, yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure to write that down after that show. Well,
I'll be here. And my birthday is the next day. By the way, you're welcome to be here on my birthday. Anybody's welcome. 9 o'clock Eastern time on. If you want to roast me, you want to make fun of me, say something to me. Anybody that's been on Sportswire over the years, you're welcome to celebrate my birthday. Yes, and make fun of me. We'll have the roast of Tom Brady. But yes, hello, Chase. I was speaking to Chase yesterday off the air. Very excited to have Chase back, and we'll definitely talk about you. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Hardcore from Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling. Hoping those guys are going to be back out there soon. I know that they had a show that took place. I know that we got to get that show up and running and get some of the guys on there hopefully in the next few weeks. And he says, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. And Mr. Hardcore worked with the legendary Copper Dragon and GWC Intensity, and we're wishing our friends in FAPW very, very well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Your time is almost up, Evil Angle. I called you Angle, though. You got your name wrong.
Oh, you're okay. Maybe Darkron's using his Windows 95 that doesn't have spell check. So Darkron,
I guess that's old age, huh? That reminds me when my dad used to get older, when he was alive, and he was. I remember when he turned like 40 something. All of a sudden, he'd have to put the glasses on. That's that moment, right?
Oh! You already know Darkron's wearing his glasses back, reading the match card.
Darkron. Bald is beautiful, Tom. Yes. Well, he doesn't know who we're talking about. The Relic. He doesn't know. We'll leave it at that. Ox looks good, but the Relic doesn't. You are lucky Delta got hurt because he would have humbled you. I guess I'm going to teach you some manners, kid.
Listen, Jack Delta would have been more of a challenge than you, Darkron.
And Mr. Kron wrestled. Mr. Kron wrestled Mr. Delta. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah, and who lost? I mean, he didn't really take the pin, but who took the L in that match? Jack Delta came out on top.
He did retain his championship. Yes.
Jack Delta's fantastic story run.
It was, and I wish it would have continued, but I know the chat continues because my buddy Abraham Storm, another youth of the back, another young gun from Charlotte, North Carolina, is in the house Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern time. How you doing next Thursday? How you doing, Abraham? Good to see you from Charlotte, North Carolina. I think this is somebody you know very well who says, congratulations, Judas. We know you very well. I'm very well.
Yes, absolutely. If you don't know
that Relic tried to get under his skin, that Relic, right? That Relic was trying to get under his skin, but wasn't a wise move there by that Relic.
Yeah, and that, I mean, hey, thank you for coming out. I just want to say, I'll say this to Sportswire. He's the reason I'm into wrestling. He's the reason why I am doing what I'm doing. He would always watch wrestling with me. We went to a friend's house for WrestleMania. WrestleMania 28 was my first ever Mania. I remember I took a picture with him at WrestleMania 30, and I compared that to a picture I took with him with, this pretty thing. So we got 3 pretty things in one picture. So comparing that for me at such a young age to now, it's truly something special. So, Dad, I thank you for everything.
Oh, we definitely appreciate him tuning in, and we definitely appreciate that. We thank him for obviously putting you on this earth. We definitely appreciate that very much. Yes, hello there to Abraham. We do appreciate that. Abraham should be getting ready for school. Yet he's here. We love Abraham. I don't know why Abraham. You should go hit the books, but we appreciate it nevertheless. Yes, we congratulate Judas, and Mr. Crom would like to say only for tonight. He got the name right though, Angel this time. He got it right.
Finally. There's only 5 letters in that word.
Well, he doesn't spell. At least he doesn't spell as bad as when Craven Rage is here. Craven Rage gets like every word wrong. And, the guys in STBW, if you saw it, they actually were making fun of on their channel that Craven Rage had the coffin wrong. He got the name of the STBW wrong. He tried.
Oh,
Hello, Darkon. Yep. Okay, let's see. We got a lot of people here in the chat. I'm going to try to get to everybody. Congrats to ALW, my Blizzard World Champion, Judas, and going into the Hall of Fame. Also seeing the card for next Monday. We got Last Monster standing for Raw. I'm expecting Bronson and Braun to dominate. What can we expect there?
I mean, expect the unexpected. That's something that has been a key throughout anything wrestling. So
Right.
I know Cody, he does a great job with Blizzard, and most of it is from the stuff he watches with WWE and especially old WCW, ECW. He still orders the DVDs just to watch it, just be able to create stories.
Well, Darkon's probably got him on VHS still.
I wouldn't even say VHS. I mean, like
8-track maybe? 8-track?
Or VHS tape?
8-track. I think it was 8 tracks, I think.
Oh, Kron.
Boy, I'm gonna really get Darkron's gonna. If I show up to Bremen, I think Darkron's gonna basically cook me as the meal. Remember the old Aesop's Fable? I'll be one of the Aesop's Fables. Thank you for that. We love Darkron and we love Coaster and we love Blizzard Wrestling. Put it out there. Yes, how's it going, CSW? It's been going well, and we're gonna talk about that pay-per-view next Thursday.
Yes.
One champion would like to say hello from Resurrection Wrestling. My good buddy Drake Dragon from Resurrection, our friends in Resurrection. We've worked very well with them in the past, and he would like to say hello. He was a huge part of Summer Bash, and I have a feeling you'll see him somewhere soon in the Midwest, and he says hello.
Fingers crossed. I'm always
The
down.
hell of a talent. He wrestled Moose in TNA. He's a
Really?
big deal. Drake,
That's
this guy, let me tell you something. Pound for pound, he's one of the best wrestlers from an overall wrestling standpoint in our circuit. I mean, just an unbelievable talent, Drake Dragon.
some extra research after this.
Yes. He wrestles in D'Angelo LaFlame's promotion. I'm sure you've heard of Mr. LaFlame, who's been a frequent participant here. Yes. What's up, Savage? Yes, hello there to Savage. Joshua Allen would like to say his congratulations. Josh is here with the TBW guys next Thursday night. The TBW guys are back on Sportswire next Thursday because I just had a conversation with a wink and a nod ringleader who is giving a order that all of the TBW guys are coming back to Sportswire next Thursday.
Now that's going to be must see, especially
when TBW comes on Sportswire. Yes, it's going to be always must see. TBW. That's what you get on Sportswire. I need to get the ratings up. No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, kind of. Hey, boss baby, remember I'll be in the ALW locker room. I'm going to get to that. That's next. I have the poster for that.
Hey, are you? I just got called the boss baby. Now I understand you can't come up with your own material because if you didn't know, that's something CJ Black came up with the second I walked in to ROEW. So call me boss baby. I mean, I'll take it because that means you know who's in charge, and that means you know.
Well, that's my next topic. That's my next. I have Mr. Kron. I have that as my next topic.
Just you wait, baby.
We'll get into that. Let me get to the chat is popping right now. They just won't let you go. Hi to the owner of Yes, we love you. Okay, Mr. Kron would like to say this. Okay, I don't like Judas at all, but don't relate to this man, to those boys in the trampoline. Which is what I said. You're at a different, yes, 100%. You are not in the same level as these STBW guys. They're in a different lane. You're in a lane that's already basically in the present. Yes, I think everybody can agree with that. If I learned anything from the legend Chris Farley, it's Herbie Hancock. That was a good one, Herbie Hancock. I think who was Herbie Hancock again? I'm not old. Sorry. I really don't. Remind me of Herbie Hancock again? Yes, wrestling has definitely grown in the last 5 years for sure. Let's
we'll agree with.
It's hard to hate this kid when he talks real. That's because he's the future and the present. There's no question about that.
All I do is tell the truth, Darkron.
Preach it to the evil angel Judas. Yes, we appreciate that, Zilla. The Samoan Watchman is here. We appreciate you. I don't know why he doesn't like Steiner. Are we talking about Braun Breaker? But that was Raw. I don't know. Judas is here. I mean, that would be a different show. That's dark. But we thank you, Samoan Watchman, for tuning in. I believe he just subbed to Sportswire. So thank you, Samoan Watchman, for tuning in. So we definitely appreciate you. What a smart kid. So Ox praises you. What a smart man. We know that. A young name to throw at you, Joe Stone. But I think Joe Stone, I think you're focused on other names, right?
Okay. I mean, if Darkron wants to put his own kid into the line of fire, if you will.
Are you saying that's nepotism?
I wouldn't call it nepotism because, Joe Stone,
I like Joe. Joe actually wrestled the first ever match. You know that Joe actually wrestled the first ever match that was live streamed on Sportswire. So I like Joe.
Yeah, Joe, good kid. Father, terrible person. But at the end of the day, Dark Kron, that is your offspring.
But I wouldn't. But I would say this much: I wouldn't put Kron and Joe into that whole like weird Soulja, Justin Parsley, Felix Jones vibe. I mean,
Joe Stone. What a creator wrestler name. First of all, second of all, he looks like a creator wrestler.
Did you create him on 2K24? Is that what you're telling me? You created him on 2K24 or what?
I'm sure Silverwolf could have created him on 2K24.
Silverwolf might have had some other ideas, but we don't want to talk about them on this platform. He might have had other ideas when it came to like a Joe Stone and a Felix Jones, but we're a family station on Sportswire. Thankfully, we have viewers here.
The only advice I'll give Joe Stone is please, for the love of God, eat a cheeseburger for once in your life, child.
Well, I could probably eat one, but okay, we thank Joe for that. But we want, obviously, if you are here right now, go sub ALW. I have a lot of people here. I want to make sure we keep plugging ALW because I'm going to get to that next when the chat eventually clears. You have another supporter of yours that would like to say, so proud of you, Judas. Keep up the amazing work. I am your number one fan.
I'll take it. If you don't know, that is my sister, the person that got called out by Big Man Cam.
Yes.
Kyla, I'm glad to see that you are no longer Cam's number one fan and that you came to your senses because after all, she was the one that hit me with a light tube in the back.
Yes.
But anyway, if she came to her senses, the truth teller, the evil angel Judas, I will appreciate it. And if you're my number one fan, I'd love to see if there's other number one fans out there, but I'll take it.
Big Man Cam doesn't seem to have any fans right now in the chat.
I mean,
he's been awfully quiet on Sportswire most. Like I said, he's probably been on Dark Den. He's been very quiet. Other than, I guess, his contractually sort of obligated ROEW appearance, but he's mostly been quiet on Sportswire. Very quiet.
I mean, no, that's not Cam. I mean, something must be up. I mean, I'm hoping Andrew's okay, but Cam, I mean, prayers to you.
You think it's Rosa that has something to do with it?
Oh, now that is a touchy subject for our best friend, Big Man Cam. I won't say anything about that, Mr. Cam.
All right, we'll move on here because then we don't want this to turn to the Anthony Steele show. Jackson Law says he recognizes the title. We say hello to Jackson Law.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes. And yes, hello there. We say hello to Jackson. We say hello to him. And we had a big match. I was watching it on Thursday. I was in the XCW show. Very good show. We appreciate him very much for tuning in. And Mr. Kron, yes, you did say he did not get pinned. Correct. You did not say, but he still didn't win the match, though.
Facts. Do not worry. I did not spread lies like politicians and everybody else like you, Dark Kron.
And yes, we definitely say that if Abraham wants to go to CBW, that's his company. So CBW always out there. If you want to go to CBW or XCW, let Jackson Law know.
Yeah.
Boss Baby grossed millions in the box office. That's a compliment in my. And by the way, Ox is going to say he's going to check out Nightmare on David Street. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Thank you, Ox. Once again, any viewership, any fans that we can get, we really do appreciate it. So,
and I want to put up that link one more time for us because there are a lot of people still here in the chat. There you go.
Everyone, thank you.
Yes, that's what we do on Sportswire. I'll let Zilla actually ask you a question since we know she's real. I have two questions for the Evil Angel Judas. Where did the name come from, and who was your inspiration to become a wrestler?
So this is something I really haven't got into. Zilla asking the hard-hitting questions, and I love it.
I want Zilla to take over Sportswire.
By the way, when is Zilla going to get inducted into the Sportswire Hall of Fame?
I've offered it her coming on. I've offered here, but I think she wants to go on Big Man Cam shows. She doesn't want to go on Dark Den, thankfully, but when Big Man Cam's on Instagram, that's where she wants to go.
Just obviously have the evil. If you want to start the next row of Hall of Famers, 90 being the Evil Angel Judas and 91 being Zilla, that's already the best.
Well, unfortunately, 91 is taken tomorrow. Tim Mecca from the late great Tim Mecca in the Wisconsin backup. But 92, she could be 92.
So, Evil Angel Judas. So, Judas comes from my grandmother, believe it or not. She was very, very strong in her faith. And whenever I was a little kid, she used to live in Florida, and we would go to Florida every summer for like a week-ish. And whenever I would be acting up or whenever something like was going wrong that I was doing, because I wasn't the best kid. I'm still not the best kid. Consider me a kid, like Darkron does. She would always say, God rest her soul, she would always say, hey, stop being a little Judas over there. Behave. And I'd just be like, okay. So eventually down the line, when it was, oh, you're like Trey Muscality, when he said, I want to get my name out there in the backyard wrestling scene and the professional wrestling scene. I want to wrestle you because at the end of the day, you were the person I could probably put on a match with. And I said, you know what? A good name would be Judas. And that would be to honor my grandmother. And after all, being strong in faith and stuff,
Sure.
That is ultimately, some would say, the most evil villain in the Bible or whatever you want to, like, whatever you believe.
Right.
And being Judas, my original goal was, and this completely out of character, my original goal was to spread the word of God and stuff. Especially those first days in ALW. I remember I would take a Bible out and I would use that in promos. I still want to do that. I have some plans in the future to keep sharing that because at the end of the day, that's what we're called to do. And but yeah, the Judas came from my grandmother. And the inspiration to become a wrestler, I'll say Trey Muscality. But I was always a fan growing up. Once again, we brought up my father earlier.
Yep.
The first wrestling I remember was a DVD from WWE, and it was the best of Hulk Hogan. And it was the career of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And Gene Okerlund doing the commentary for it, doing little snippets.
I think I actually have it in my basement still. I actually think I have that DVD. I have it.
And what I remember was it was WrestleMania 1. And my father was like, son, this is Hulk Hogan. This is your guy. And then I saw Rowdy Roddy Piper. And I told my dad, I'm like, that's my guy. That is the guy I'm going to cheer for. So making my dad mad, because once again, I wasn't the best kid. Making my dad mad, I thought was hilarious. And Roddy Piper, that first inspiration, and then watching wrestling later on. Right now, obviously, the big ones, it's Roddy Piper, the in-ring work of people like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
Sure.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, much like Mr. Taylor.
The bad signal goes on now. Well, let me tell you something, kid. You know, did you watch my match?
My favorite wrestler of all time, and it will always stay that way. If you don't know, you can see right here. This was my favorite kid because he was different from everybody.
He was, and he got attacked on Raw tonight. Sorry for everybody for breaking that.
Those are ultimately my biggest inspirations in wrestling.
Great names. I think that those are names a lot of people would agree with, and we really hope you feel better. I feel bad for you because you're coughing and.
Oh, dude, don't worry. It's just allergies trying to get to the.
Okay, it's allergy. I'll make you sick. Okay, well, if you got allergies, my advice would be take Allegra. No, seriously, I have allergies. If I don't take Allegra, I'm like you. But if I take Allegra, I have no problem. So my advice would be
that's another thing I have to write down. That's
take Allegra. I'm telling you, your problems will be alleviated the minute you take Allegra.
Advice that I'm going to take, and trust me, I'm sure Darkron will try to share as much advice as he wants tonight. That is the advice I will take.
But I actually have had allergies almost all of my life, and as long as I take Allegra, I'm fine. So that would be my advice to you: Allegra and Zatador. You'll be fine.
Interesting.
Yes, definitely. CBW is out there. Go do that. Let's see your sister. I'm gonna get to that. We're almost done with the chat. Back to work, boys. Yes, good to see you, Mr. Law. We'll definitely see you soon out there. And good work in the ring for our friends in XCW. And Corey Lee's in the house here next Tuesday, I think. So you might want to tune into that one. Very happy about that. Judas hit my line, got an opportunity for. Yes, we'll definitely talk about that. Darkron Kids, Joe Stone. I did not know that. Well, now you know. He's been around. But,
I'm sorry. Am I dropping more Hiroshimas on the people? Is that
no? This platform, actually, Joe's been here a bunch of times on Sportswire. Because, again, That's a different conversation. And Big Man Cam's not here, so I don't know why you're saying hello to Big Man Cam, but he's not here. He's
here in spirit. If Judas is here, Big Man Cam will find a way to attach himself to it.
all right. So you know what? We got a lot of people back in here. We're in the second half of the show. Let's go to the picture first of all. You know what? I don't even want to go into the title match yet. I think it's time to talk about Darkron. Why am I talking about Darkron? Because Darkron, you and him are sharing the same locker room in a matter of days. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, you and Darkron are sharing a locker room this Saturday because we know about the news of KP Mars vacating that ALW International Championship, and we've got a ladder match. It's a 4-way ladder match, and it's involving Ragface, who was supposed to have wrestled KP Mars at A Nightmare on David Street. We know that didn't happen for obviously health reasons. And we've got the man that you took the title of and disposed of, the relic there that shall be named nameless. And then we had on a new guy who I was very impressed with, Kay. And then a man that, well, his picture, I mean, could they have not gotten him a better picture? Did the board of directors at least Photoshop the picture to make him look younger a little bit in this photo? I mean, this is like Craven Rage looking like in this photo. I love Darkron. Darkron is one of the nicest people. I know you got your issues with Darkron. I genuinely love Mr. Kron. But, I mean, can we get a better picture of Darkron here? I mean, between... But Darkron's in the ring, and he's in a title match, and correct me if I'm wrong, he basically has one appearance where he just showed up unannounced into ALW, and now he's in a ladder match for a title. And what's your thoughts on all of this and your promotion? You're the top man, and Darkron's in action this Saturday in a ladder match? I mean, do you think he could get up the ladder even?
I mean, without throwing out his hip, I'm sure he probably could try to climb a ladder. I mean, he posted something in the comments that said, oh, I'll make, like, people need to know that this is my match. This is a match that Kron is special in.
Yes, Summer Bash and previous shows, yes.
Many other different ways, but we're not going to go into that here tonight on Sportswire. But the fact that Dark Kron is in a title match, he is in a match when, let's face it, his only opponent that he's wrestled in ALW is Trey Mysticality. Yes. We all know how I feel about Trey Mysticality. Reverend Tom, you say he does a better job at ring announcing than he does in the backyard or in a ring.
Correct.
And he didn't last, I don't even know, 5 minutes with Trey Mysticality. Trey hit him with a roll-up, and Kron was surprised. Isn't a veteran supposed to know everything that a young gun like me and I guess Trey Mysticality?
Well, maybe you could make the case because Mr. Kron has been wrestling so many stipulation matches, hardcore matches, that maybe he forgot to wrestle a regular type of match.
But anyway, Dark Kron, Dark Kron's involved in a ladder match.
Correct.
I'm praying that this will be the final time we see Dark Kron in ALW. I mean, if Dark Kron wants to wrestle me in ALW, I will be happy and glad to put him in his place. But a ladder match, the competitors in this match, Kay, like you said, I was very impressed with Kay.
I think Kay's a guy that's got a good look. I think he's a guy that brings something different to the table we haven't seen in ALW. I think he's a guy that part of me says that he could be the guy that may walk away from this.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. If I were a betting man, out of all the people in this match, I mean, Justin, we know his fat up a lot.
Who?
I'm sorry. Did I say a name? I don't know. Anyway,
I have a cousin named Justin, but I haven't seen him in like 30 years. I mean this would be my cousin for all we know.
Ladder match? I would love to see that personally. If that's the Justin we're talking about. That's the Justin, can actually make money and entertain a crowd. But anyway, we have that old man next to Kay. I mean, and the old man next to the older man, Dark Kron. We know he's not going to walk away with the championship. And Ragface, he's somebody that I think has a chip on his shoulder. He's somebody that I think deserves an international title shot.
What do you make of Ragface then? That's a name we were supposed to have seen at the Nightmare on David Street, but we're seeing him in September Showdown. What do you make of him coming up here in this match this Saturday?
I mean, like I said, he is somebody that has a lot to prove, and he is somebody that the AOW audience and the majority of our YouTube audience haven't seen much of.
No.
Holden Holloway in the Gauntlet, he did a great job holding his own, and I think Ragface, I mean, out of all of these men, I'm sure he's the most, let's say, able to climb a ladder. So I would love to see Ragface walk out with the international championship.
But I just feel with Kay and I know his experience is probably the fewest in this match, but I think with his strength, his look, that in a longer match might be able to maybe propel him to a victory, because something tells me here that Ragface and the other name that shall name nameless, they're going to be focused on beating up Darkron, and that might be able to give Kay an opening here to go out there and maybe take this.
Maybe some people can make a deal with the devil, and maybe Darkron won't be able to make it to September Showdown. Maybe he won't be able to make it in the ladder match. All I'm going to say is Darkron.
I was wondering, though, what your thoughts were on the fact that Darkron, once again, I'm sure you are going to think this, that kind of goes on the back of get another promotion, getting another opportunity with really not much of a reason to earn it. I mean, we saw him in ROEW in the Hall of Fame ceremony. I mean, we see him with all the success of the IMF has had. Kron's been, obviously you have basically kind of implied that he's piggybacked off that. I mean, and now here we are again, ALW, and Darkron's getting another title shot, and for a company that he's had one match for that he lost, actually. What is your thoughts on that?
Legends are smart. Darkron is considered a legend. Do
you think of him more? Well, is he more of a politicker?
And that's the point I'm about to make. Darkron has had over 20 years of experience. He has had multiple amazing matches. Back in his prime when dinosaurs were roaming the earth. Heck, even when he's on the phone and people ask for his last 4 digits of a social security number, he gives them the 4 digits, and that's it, because he's that old. But anyway, Darkron piggybacks, as you said, that I've said multiple times, I think he piggybacks on a lot of different companies. DKW,
well, you said DKW, do they exist? I mean, that's what you brought that question up. You said DKW, do they exist? DKW is essentially now a part of ROEW. IMF essentially, I mean, DKW has been a part of IMF almost since like the early beginnings of the IMF. I mean, Summer Bash, right, was their show and such. I mean, so you seem to imply that DKW doesn't exist as much. It's what you're telling me, more or less. I'm not sure.
The one piece of merchandise that they had was left at an ALW show, and it's now in some trash compactor.
Well, you threw famously out DKW paraphernalia here out on your last appearance on Sportswire.
For all we know, it's rotting in some landfill where it belongs with the other trash in this world. But Darkron, he politics his way into getting matches. Sure, you could say he's a legend. He deserves a title shot. If he walks into any company, he deserves a match. Heck, ROEW, when he wrestled Matthew Forsaken in the legendary outsider Jack Delta.
And the Prestige tournament. He was there in the finals with C Money, who's now the Prestige champion.
And I'll say that was a good match, but C Money, this is no disrespect to C Money, but he's been disrespected throughout probably his entire career. He has been underlooked, and Darkron didn't take advantage of that. He let the underlooked become the...
Well, there was an opportunity in that match where Kron could have took maybe a route to help him win that match, and he did not do it.
Nope. And going back to this ladder match, Darkron, if nobody respected you before, nobody in the ALW locker room respects you now. You know what, Reverend Tom? I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. Let's talk about the politics in backyard wrestling. Darkron has a dressing room in ALW.
Wait. Time out. Did you wait?
Oh, yeah.
You mean to tell me, for the audience now out there, that Darkron has his own dressing room in ALW?
Dressing room. It's just far away from the other talent.
So he's not dressing with you. He's not dressing with Ragface, the name that shall name nameless, Holden Holloway, Kay, and whatever Big Man Cam is announcing. I mean, you're telling me that Jerry even, that he's not dressing with any of them? Trey Mysticality, none of you?
The first ever interaction I had with Darkron was a simple, hi, I'm Judas, hi, I'm Darkron, handshake, and that was it. And then I didn't see him until it was time for the Golden Gauntlet. He was so far away. Heck, I'm the ALW champion. This championship doesn't mean anything if Darkron is having his own dressing room because he's a quote-unquote legend. He's a quote-unquote...
But how do guys in that locker room feel about that? Because Holden Holloway said, I have no problem with Darkron. I have a different side of things that I see, but he said that he has no problem with Darkron. He respects him, and that in the Backyard Havoc, that he's not there to tear people down. He's not there to go out and... This is not about DKW versus ALW. This is not about IMF or ROEW versus anybody. This is really about, I want to learn from people. I want to go out there and see what everybody has to offer. So, I mean, what do you think on that as in relations to Darkron even here being a W? Because again, I mean, Trey Mysticality, he looks up to Darkron. He's talked about that. He's been very vocal about that.
A fanboy.
Holden Holloway, I mean, he was admitting, saying that there was some things he didn't agree with, but he didn't have the personal grudge that you had. You have an axe to grind with, Mr. Kron, and Holden, he didn't agree with some of the things, but he didn't have the same angst that you have. So what do you think that locker room does feel about Darkron?
So Holden Holloway is a man I respect probably more than anybody in this industry.
Sure.
Once again, the person I came in against, the person I've feuded against the most, because I don't really count Trey Mysticality as a wrestler at this point. Holden Holloway is a man I respect, and he can respect Darkron. Holden Holloway is a smart man, because I've been labeled a hothead. I've been labeled somebody who can drop Hiroshimas at any moment. I've been labeled...
Well, look at even what you did after you won the title. I'll play it before we close the show, but, I mean, you basically beat the tar out of the man that shall name nameless.
But I've been labeled all these things because I see the big picture. And the big picture is I am now dealing with ALW. I am now dealing with Backyard Havoc. I am dealing with the feud with Darkron. I am dealing with the personal vendetta I have against Darkron. I'm dealing with the man who shall remain nameless. I'm dealing with Josh Tidd, who I just beat in Blizzard and retained my Blizzard World Heavyweight Championship. I'm dealing with Trey Mysticality. I have all of these things that I am focusing on. And at the end,
what will that be like this Saturday in Marion when he steps in, Mr. Kron, from Bremen to Marion? I mean, is it going to be where things ended a few weeks ago, where we needed basically the entire locker room to separate you two? I mean, what's that moment going to be like when you and Darkron are together in that dressing room? Because you're going to run into him. There's just no way that you don't. I mean, there's going to be that moment. I mean, you're the top guy. He's coming into your company. What is that going to be like Saturday in Marion when he shows up? What is that going to be like?
Everyone is expecting fireworks. Everyone is expecting...
I'm expecting Brett Shawn vibes, CM Punk Seth, CM Punk Drew, Jericho and Goldberg years ago. I'm expecting, I'll be honest, that's what I would think most people in the Backyard would be expecting between the two of you right now, and the hatred and the animosity that you have right now.
And I'll say, I haven't been in this industry long, but I'm smart enough to realize that there is more than just one person I dislike. I don't have to focus all my attention on that. You know what? I'll announce this right now. I will be having an open challenge for this championship at September Showdown. I'll call out anybody. I don't care if it's anybody from ALW, DKW. I don't even care if Jack Delta was healthy and came down to wrestle. I don't care who it is. This title will be on the line. I will have an open challenge, and I will be opening the show with my State of the Union address, and nobody will be safe in ALW because I will give my opinion on everybody in ALW, whether they like it or not. And the audience knows I will tell the truth and only tell the truth. So, back to what I was saying about Darkron. I will be the bigger man. I will be the bigger man in the situation. I'm not a veteran. I haven't been around for 20 years. Heck, Darkron's wrestled more years than I've been alive on this show. And I will just say this. There is a reason why Nick Larkin is our head of security now at ALW. Our last show, it was mainly to keep the man that shall remain nameless away from...
Oh, my goodness, the stuff. And we're going to put that match up in a few minutes. But, I mean, that's wild.
But Nick Larkin, he's going to have his hands full with his security team. Because it's already been said, I can show you the text in the group chat. You know, I won't do that because I don't want to leak backstage stuff. But Darkron and me will be separated at all times. There will be security.
This is going to be Brett Shawn vibes. Because, I mean, that's what was done years ago. They basically couldn't dress near each other. They couldn't look at each other eye to eye. But what are you going to feel like potentially if Mr. Kron walks away with that international title on Saturday? Because then you know for real that we are on a crash collision course. If he wins on Saturday, right? He wins this Saturday. You're the champion.
Big if, but go ahead.
Right, but let's go with for a second because, you know, we have to do that. There's a possibility he could win the international title. Now, it's his specialty match, and he's been obviously at this, and he's going to very much feel like he's got a strong case to walk away with that title on Saturday. But that would almost make him the man to potentially go up against you, and that would create this rather interesting dynamic in the backyard, and especially in Ohio, that Mr. Kron, the international champion, and you're the ALW champion, that we could see this match before it happens in Bremen. Could see it in Marion before that. And what would that make you feel? Is that Mr. Kron wins on Saturday, and he's the international champion. You're the world champion because you're going to retain this open challenge. Most people have no doubt about that. You just won this title. You ain't letting it go anywhere from but your waist. But Mr. Kron's the international champion. You're the world champion. You know that the footsteps are going to be heard. And especially what's best for business would be you and Mr. Kron in Marion before we see it in Bremen.
You know, Tom, this is why I like going on Sportswire, because the Reverend gives me different questions that I've never thought of. I never thought of Darkron walking out with the international championship. That's a thought that never crossed my mind.
And that's going to be a business decision that could very well be that the powers that be might say, you know what? Mr. Kron, we see him on RWW TV. He's got brothers in Iowa. They love him and all these other places. And he's the international champion. And Judas, you've had problems from day one with the board. You were fired. You had your own problems with this company. You've had problems with Big Man Cam. You've had problems with trade mysticality, the man that shall name nameless. And what an even further way to trip up your run as champion, to potentially have this crash collision course where, you know what, maybe in Marion, it's not big enough for you and Mr. Kron, and your championship run could well end, rather, I could say sooner than you would like, and maybe quicker than a New York minute, because Mr. Kron wins one title, and that grants him a right to take another title, and this all could happen before we even get to Bremen. And everything that you've done, being the future and the present of the backyard wrestling circuit, it all could be pulled right under you. Could be pulled from all under you just in a matter of weeks, if it's what the powers that be want.
So, Tom, I will say this, and I mean no disrespect, but when you were talking about me losing this championship to Darkron, it was in one ear out the other, because what I was hearing is if Darkron won the international championship at September Showdown, and we all know I'm walking out with this beautiful baby right here.
Correct.
How does the first ever dual champion in ALW, the Evil Angel Judas, sound? That just sounds like money to my ears. You know, if ALW wants to make me the first ever Grand Slam champion of all legendary wrestling, the first ever world heavyweight champion and international champion, the first person to hold two belts. I'm already holding two belts at once, but we won't count the Blizzard belt in ALW because Blizzard and ALW, they're very separate. But if Judas walked out of ALW by the end of this season with the World Heavyweight Championship and the International Championship and walking into Bremen, Ohio after defeating Darkron, I mean, after all, I'm already living rent-free in his head. Like, that would be spectacular. And
it would be no quiet. Listen, it would be historic, but are you concerned in any way with the history of the board of directors and management have towards you that maybe they could try to screw you? Maybe they could be setting this up for this all to happen before you and him go back to Bremen.
If the ALW board of directors want to go that direction,
they might.
I already know they don't like me. They fired me once. They reinstated me. They rehired me. And now your boy's making some champion money in that company, which I will thank the board of directors for doing. But if they would like to, make Darkron the star of ALW, you're looking at a star right here. Darkron is a star that is 1 billion years old, ready to burn out. This star is just getting started.
But the last champion was 1 billion years old.
It's all about
champion wasn't, and we see this struggle in the backyard. I mean, there's a guy in Maryland. He's a champion still. I mean, he's been champion 1 billion years. We saw in Wisconsin, there was a champion there that was holding on to the title and gave himself the title. And it happens everywhere. You go to promotion after promotion, and it's a common theme. And maybe this is coming to Ohio and it's coming to Marion. I mean, I don't know.
It's a toxic cancer that won't go away.
I wouldn't go that far in saying that. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but I understand in the fact that maybe, this is what you're rallying against, in the fact that there is, again, change, young guns, and the status quo is people are unsatisfied with it. They're not happy. And that's kind of where we are in this country right now. People are unhappy. And maybe in the backyard wrestling circuit, you're the leader of this revolution, as you've proclaimed. You have proclaimed yourself tonight. You know what I've learned tonight, ladies and gentlemen? As we're here in prime time, we're here with the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Judas the Evil Angel, then a 2-time ALW champion, and also the Blizzard champion. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voiced figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. And tomorrow, or today, depending where you are, Sean Jovi is here, 8 o'clock Eastern time, to induct the late, great Wisconsin backyard wrestling legend Tim Mecca into our Hall of Fame. But you know what I've learned tonight, Judas the Evil Angel? You are the leader of this new revolution of the youth of the backyard, the young guns, the young whippersnappers. And you are that leader. You are that leader of this revolution. But in the backyard wrestling circuit, just like anywhere else, people don't like leaders. They don't like guys who are outspoken. They don't like young guns. They don't like people that lead a revolution. We see it all the time. I mean, Ledger Shade's here on Friday, and people felt that the way things happened in his company were, well, what it was, I'll leave that for Friday's show. But there's no question we see it time and time again. Anthony Steele was here yesterday. Lord knows he's been the biggest agent of change in backyard wrestling history. Aaron Blaze, you brought him up tonight. He's another one. People don't like change. And the board of directors doesn't like change. They don't like you. You're the leader of this revolution. And what better way to end the revolution and to end the change before it even starts is to put the status quo back on top.
If people want to stop this revolution, because I have eyeballs, I have a YouTube page, I've subscribed to Sportswire, I understand what's going on.
Oh, I know you're in the chat every time. I know you got your ears to the ground. You're a top guy.
Oh, I'm taking notes on everyone and everything that I see.
But this is your own company now. This is your own company. And this is a legitimate thing that you have to have in the back of your mind. I know tonight's a celebration. We're celebrating. But there's no question that the board of directors is not celebrating tonight. They are not celebrating that you are on top again. And what better way to take you off the top of the mountain is putting the status quo back in power.
If ALW wants to do that, then maybe ALW isn't the place for Judas.
You could be Joe Biden. You could be Joe Biden right now, for all we know. I mean, let's be honest. You could be Joe. Joe Biden was the president of the United States, whether people would like to admit it or not. He was the president, right? Basically thrown out. He was thrown out of running for election. You're the champion. The board of directors, they might want to have their own Kamala coming up here, and that could be Darkron for all we know. I'm not trying to interject politics in people's views, but there's a similarity. You're at the top.
Absolutely, there is a similarity there. And if the ALW board of directors, I really like that association that you just made. If I am seen as the Joe Biden of ALW, I hate to bring it to you, but unlike Joe Biden, I have a functioning brain.
That was the last champion who was a sleepy guy. I mean, that was no question about that. But in terms of, again, the similarity of trying to take someone out, the board of directors has already had history with you. And I just see the way this is setting up is that if Kron walks in a match that he wins the majority of the time, he walks away with that title on Saturday. We're getting this match before we go to Bremen. It's a done deal. The board of directors, they've made the match. They've already made the outcome that they want. That's the way we're going.
And I keep saying if, because it is a very statistically low, maybe even towards impossible way that Darkron will walk out.
But it writes its own story. It writes its own story right now. The story is written.
Reverend Tom,
winning Saturday.
I will make it my personal mission. Darkron does not walk out with that international championship.
Would you even want the man that is named Nameless to walk away with the international title? Would you even want that?
Absolutely not. They're ALW. They want to focus on the older stars of the past generation. If you want to call the man that shall not be mentioned a star, I don't know what drug you're on. Maybe you should share yourself. Because I want to feel that good right now. I don't
even know if he would be a star on Dark Den.
I don't even know. I think if this man were to go on the Dark Den, I think the star power around him would make him just like he is in ALW.
Dark Den would actually lose viewers. They would actually lose viewers if he showed up on there.
I mean, it would be like if he had COVID. Stay away. Do not go anywhere near him. If you interact,
wear a double mask.
You will get sick. Oh, we're having too much fun on Sportswire here today.
I think we are having fun, but let me get to some comments here. First of all, let me get a bunch of comments here. Chase Wakefield said, yes, I am a popular man. I have 261,000 emails. Yes, I do. I really do have that many emails. I have so many emails that it might rival my bank account. But Zilla, yes, I would love to induct you as number 92. You have to tell me when, and we'll make that happen.
Yes,
that would be very good.
Approved. Zilla, I want to see you get inducted into the Sportswire.
I want Zilla in the Hall of Fame too. I think Zilla should be in the Hall of Fame. Omen Black is in the house. He works for the IMF. He is a foundation member alongside Mr. Kron. He's here Thursday night. And I think he's wrestling on Saturday, though, I think, for the IMF. So I don't know if he's pulling double duty or not, but we'll have to find out. We'll see what he has to say next. Hi to Omen Black. I was a secret guest. I had to stay hidden.
Maybe you should stay hidden. Please, stay
hidden.
Omen
Black, though, says open challenge. Interesting. Very interesting.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Omen Black.
Who will answer a Forsaken One, a Cyclone, a Mr. Stone, a Boogeyman? Who could it be? Very interested to see. What is your thoughts on that?
I mean, Matthew Forsaken. I'll go through each of these wrestlers because
all right, go for these names. Go through them.
For each of those wrestlers. Matthew Forsaken. I've had multiple. Believe it or not, I was on the phone with Matthew Forsaken after ROEW got inducted. I had Matthew Forsaken walk away, and we devised a plan for Trey Mysticality and Darkron. Let's face it, just Darkron, because we know Trey Mysticality is not going to do anything in that match.
He'll announce the match and then go sit on the side.
So we have a plan against Darkron. We work good as a team. I would love, you know what? I think it would be a great match, me versus Forsaken. I would be 100% down for that. Mr. Jason Storm. Yes. Another guy in REW I have so much respect for. Jason Storm, I mean, I'm no parasite, but if you want to come wrestle the guy in ALW, I'll put the title on the line against the Cyclone. And Joe Stone, once again, that is somebody I don't respect. If you are 50% Darkron, please get out of my face, leave the practice, and never come back because you will not be respected. So, Mr. Joe Stone, I'm so sorry that has to be that way. And a boogeyman, Omen Black. I mean, if you're wrestling down an IMF, if there's a way, because I met Omen Black at ROEW taping.
Oh,
a fantastic guy.
Yes, we love Omen. It's his platform. Yes, we love him.
Great guy. Omen Black, if you want some, come get some, because I'd be down to put on a hardcore match with you. I truly.
You've done many of them in ALW, as a matter of fact. Yeah. You're no Atomic Titan, who maybe some would say is not really a hardcore wrestler. You and ALW have done actually a lot of hardcore wrestling, believe it or not. Many hardcore matches.
I think ALW would be a beautiful place for Omen Black. And what would be a better match than the Evil Angel Judas versus the Boogeyman Omen Black? Evil Angel versus Boogeyman would put butts in seats. So Omen Black, I see you, buddy.
We'll have to find out there. Ox McCoy seems interested in that open challenge.
As long as you don't bring a gusset plate, we'll be friends.
Mr. Kron, though, is contractually obligated to September Showdown International title. I don't think he's doing double duty. You can rest easy on that.
Trust me, there is no way Dark Crown will be able to pull double duty after that ladder match when I make sure he doesn't win the international title, because he will be laying in a pool of his blood. Oh my goodness. Darkron, get out of the chat, please. Go back to your work.
By the way, I want to say hello to my buddy, the Samoan Dragon Il Drago. He's been working out all day. He's getting ready for Tribal Combat. He'll be in the house Thursday night. And yeah, we've had a great show tonight. Judas is in the Hall of Fame. Big chat, big crowd, big fight atmosphere. It's Celebration Week on Sportswire Radio. Anthony Steele was here yesterday. Judas is here today. Sean Jovi is in the house later. Big vibes on Sportswire, maybe the biggest week in Sportswire history. Oh, that Trey. And he said it was a pleasure meeting you, by the way. He liked you.
Yes. Oh, Omen Black, it was a pleasure meeting you as well, like I said.
And that's funny because he said that about you, but he didn't say that about Craven Rage.
Omen Black, not saying that I was forced to respect him, but that is a man you need to respect.
Oh, I've seen him. I've known him for a long time, by the way. I've known him longer than you've been in wrestling. So, yes.
Yeah. Omen Black, great guy. I have nothing but respect for him. And I would love to work with him, in the future. I don't know if I'd want to be in the ring against him, knowing.
I think he's there in Backyard Havoc. I think Omen, I think.
He will be there.
I think they're going to be there in Bremen. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you and him will see each other in Bremen.
If we wanted to team up, maybe. But
okay, well, all right, fair enough. Omen would eat you, kid.
Okay, that's okay.
But I'll tell you what, before we get ready to end the show in a few minutes, let's show you winning the championship. Let's go with that for the next 15 or so minutes. Let's pull it up here for the audience. Let's kind of go with it here for the crowd. And we'll put it up here. We see the man that used to be the champion, a relic in time.
Who?
A footnote.
Who?
Yeah, footnote.
I'm sorry. I don't think I can read what that says. I just see myself. Like I just.
I really think he looks like a D-list Fletch. He looks like a D-list owner of XEW. I mean, really. I mean, there's one Fletch, and we certainly only want to have one Fletch, and he's the D level knockoff version of Fletch. And obviously, he's wearing boxing gloves. This isn't Brawl for All 1998. I mean, obviously, certainly we could see this is what a relic looks like, but obviously he's just going out here and biding his time as what used to be. This is what used to be the champion. This is what the status quo looked like for real. But the fans seem to be. Did he pay those fans to cheer for him?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to come to terms with like what is actually happening during his entrance, because he came out with a new theme song for his final, let's say, 30 minutes as champion. New theme,
less than that, but yeah.
Taking as much time as needed to get out into the arena, because if you don't know, I was standing out there for a good 20 seconds waiting for his theme to hit. Trying to bribe me with money to lay down. What am I, Al Snow in the Job Squad?
I think in Iowa they tried that with some other guy, and I think Omen knows what I'm talking about with the referee, and that didn't work out. So it's not going to work out with you.
I will say this: as much crap as I love to give this man at all times, he beat me the show before this
Yep.
at Gauntlet, and I wasn't prepared. This match, I came in prepared, and he did a great job. He heard what
It
I
was
was.
a good match. I got to be honest. This was a good match. I enjoyed this match. This was a good match. There's no question that this match was a match that was a much better match than what we saw last of you guys. Yes, this was a match I was really, really excited to talk about here, which I'm going to pretty much end the show with. I mean, but you're obviously just in your own thought here, and he's just delaying the inevitable here. That's really what I see tonight.
He's and as somebody who makes a living out of it's kind of like Monopoly, getting different rents in people's heads. That's what I do. I play a huge game of Monopoly in life.
But this was not a clever move there by going after somebody that put you into this world. I mean, that was a little bit bizarre, I thought.
And everybody, what I love watching back about this is everybody says, Judas, where do you learn how to talk? What did you do? It's that man right there.
I could see he's a big man there. He's a very big man. I could see a very big man, an imposing man.
And the creativity that just spews out of this man's mouth. It is truly something that I latched onto as a kid. And of course, with all my training and stuff that I've done, whether that be improv and just learning to say things on the fly, much like we're doing here tonight. But the fact that I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the fact that this man has his grummy hands all over this title. It still just makes me mad to this day.
And by the way, Omen and Il Drago were watching, and they said he looks like the thumbs from Spy Kids. Although, side note, can you believe that one of the main character in Spy Kids is married to Meghan Trainor? You really want to talk about marrying way above your weight?
Oh my goodness!
I'm sure it's the witching hour now. I think we're at that time, and you want to talk about really marrying way above your pay grade. That would be an example. Just look at what he looks like. Look at what she looks like. But obviously, I digress. But certainly, I'm seeing here that these punches, and he's got you noogieing, but you've come out right away and not taking any of that, and you've got him, the man that shall name nameless, into a rather awkward position to start.
Oh my goodness! And I'll say this: like I keep praising Holden Holloway, and I will to the end of time. If anybody here wants to work with anybody from ALW, first of all, come find me, because right now I'm not only the biggest wrestler in ALW, but I now have something that you might want to fight for. They come out and have a match against me. But the other one would be Holden Holloway. Holden Holloway works so smooth and so well, whether that be in the backyard or the ring. Like I watched his Sportswire, and having Justin Parsley praise him for that is truly something.
A lot of the guys I know, Chris Jones spoke very highly of him from XCW. Corey Lee, who's back here next week, and I was talking with them about Holden, and they all had rave reviews for him. I know also Julian Void Jacobs, who's no longer there, praised Holden. A lot of the guys love Holden there, and I could certainly see why. But Omen seems like he's not a fan of your opponent right now.
And I'm surprised if anybody's a fan of my opponent here. I mean, the crowd. What's special about an ALW crowd is it is a different atmosphere. Wrestling in Blizzard with no crowd. We have Cody Blackwell commentating. That is great.
Absolutely.
But with a crowd, it is truly a different beast. And I don't know if anybody noticed this watching the match, but nobody likes me in ALW at the beginning of this match. At the end of this match, which I'm assuming we'll get to,
we're gonna watch the match in through its entirety.
The crowd turned on the former champion. They said, "You know what? I'm seeing the revolution in front of me. Judas is this guy that will carry ALW to the future."
And that's what I said in my induction speech to put you in the Hall of Fame, is that I think that you are the man, not only to carry the torch in ALW, but I think you are the man that is going to carry the torch for our circuit. I mean, Mr. Delta obviously exit stage left. We are wishing him well, but I think inadvertently he's passed the torch to you. I think you're the man that's going to help our circuit. And I think that obviously you're dealing with a man right now, but it's going to obviously unfold to the way it is because you've got that belt on. But he's definitely using every possible venue to figuratively and literally try to keep that championship. But he's got the crutch, and he certainly is using it. He's trying to go batter up, but that's the wrong sport.
There's a reason I wear knee pads now. I'll just say that after my first encounter with him,
I think every wrestler's supposed to wear pads. I think I read that somewhere. I think maybe somebody said that on one of these shows that everybody has to wear pads in the ring.
I mean, once again, I'm probably the last person people want to take advice from, but wearing knee pads, it helps. It's truly
for sure.
Like it's a blessing. But
for sure.
I want to go back to a comment you recently just said about Jack Delta passing, that torch to me. First of all, if I could be 50, not even 50%, I would say even 20% of what Jack Delta was, that means I'm on the right track. And having something like that where people, like, especially you, Tom, who watch, I don't want to say wrestling for a living, but you've seen a lot of stuff. You've seen everybody at their best. You've seen everybody.
Yes, I think Omen, I think when we've spoken in the past, he says, you really do watch a lot of the wrestling. I said, yeah, I mean, I don't do it for a living. Thankfully, you saw the stack that I pulled out at the beginning of the show. I don't think I need to do this for a living, thanks to the grace of God. But no, I really think that there's a lot of traits and similar. I know the wrestling ability is probably not there yet, but I think the ability to conduct yourself is definitely there. And I think that the more experience you'll get to that point. But I think that, you're there at the moment. But right now I'm watching and you definitely took out something there. And obviously you're about to choke the living daylights out of yesterday's news.
It's called being creative. And my goal right now is I've been told I have a creative mind, and I will keep it that way. And my goal, especially in backyard wrestling in general, especially coming up with Backyard Havoc, learning as much as I can, even with that one conversation with Jack Delta that I had, the multiple conversations I had with Jack Delta that one day, like being able to learn from peers that aren't, ancient relics like Darkron. I just want to get better. My goal is to become the best wrestler that I can. Obviously, the character's here. I am here. Judas is here. The question is, how can I already can walk the walk, but how can I start running while I'm already walking?
Well, obviously, that's going to sort itself out. And also, Judas is in action this Saturday at ALW's September Showdown. He'll be defending his world championship in an open challenge. He is also going to be in the ring November 9th to 10th in the Backyard Havoc. And we're certainly seeing some things there that I'm not going to repeat on the air. That's on Dark Den Hour. But obviously, we're seeing here some more war of words, not the quite way I would go about things, certainly to one's family member. But that's obviously what the former champion, your predecessor, was certainly doing, and he's hitting you with the belt. And I think he was trying to mimic how your father may have hit you with the belt. But I can tell you, as a man that was hit with the belt as a child, I don't think your father was hitting you with the belt. I'll just put it that way. As a man, I have been hit with the belt. I did get hit with the belt a lot, actually.
My father did never hit me with a belt, never. But
I grew up in Brooklyn, and I definitely, it was a different life. So let's just put it that way. But obviously, my mother did not hear that. Hope she won't listen to the whole show. It doesn't matter anyway. But the point is, you are certainly, I think that's what he's trying to mimic. But you are obviously not going to give up after everything you've went through here. And I think he's trying to almost do a horse riding pony thing here. I don't know what the move.
I had the belt around my neck, and all I remember was Casey, God love him, our referee. He counts loud, so it was. I heard a very faint 1, 2.
I heard through the grapevine that Casey wants to come on Sportswire. Have you heard about this?
That as well. I mean, Casey, huge wrestling fan. I mean, he's honored to be our referee.
Yes.
But oh my, so just something I want to say about completely off topic because my ADHD's kicking in. The man that should not be named, Justin Parsley, if you're watching, Love you, buddy. But anyway, the man that shall not be named, when he kept hitting me with the belt and I finally got the upper hand, I mean, it's already exposed for the world to see. Why not hit him harder? He wants to hit me as hard as he can. I think it's time for me to hit him hard.
I would have said, though, maybe the belt should have been used to pull up his pants. I mean, to quote Anthony Steele yesterday on the show, the pull up or shut up line, I would have said that would have been, they couldn't quite shut up here, but maybe the new belt to pull up because I don't know what it is in backyard wrestling that guys all have this problem in backyard. I mean, I watch a lot of backyard wrestling. I mean, it seems to be a common theme in any fed, but yes.
I'll tell you this. It's not that hard to do. My gear, listen, I may not wear pants. I may be wearing just regular shorts, but I'm covered up at all times.
I don't understand why the big guys have this problem in every fed I watch. It's every fed. I don't know, but you did some variation of a neck breaker or jaw breaker there, and he's down for the count. And you're going to try to climb to get a 3 count, but not quite there just yet. But our referee definitely tried his best, but we still got some more there. And you thought maybe you had a shot, but
right here I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I thought that would be it. I'm trying to hit him with stuff that he doesn't know. And obviously, just going after my father, he's more concerned about getting water than selling my moves here in a second. So it's kind of clear the champion already knew that he was gone. It's obvious that he knew his title reign was coming to an end. And I knew I had it in the bag. And I know, Justin Parsley, once again, huge fan of you, buddy. But the man that shall not be named, I already know what's going on in his brain, and it's, okay, how can I just keep this match going? How can I stall so I can keep my precious seconds as champion?
That tree branch had to hurt.
I don't know what busted me open throughout the match. I'm almost confident it was one of these tree hits because they just kept on rolling no matter what it was, and I don't know what he's trying to do. I
think he's trying to slowly soften your arm up and then just put you back into the tree branch.
I mean, if that works for him, I don't even want to talk about this part.
We're not. That will really be named nameless. But that was just
want to get Sportswire taken down. If you are under the age of, I don't know.
We're going to actually fast forward that. I will fast forward that on Sportswire because heaven forbid we actually acknowledge what that is. Thankfully, the volume is not on here, but we will certainly go a little bit up. They will move up a little bit from there because we really don't.
The fact that the champion had to use that in a match, and I'll warn you, there is more coming up because trust me.
I know what came up again, but we'll fast forward in that point, unfortunately, for the audience.
That's truly a low in ALW. The fact, I mean, it was used in the first ever match. I understand it. I get it. It's if you want to make that a callback, that's not your callback to make. At least that's just my take. And the fact
I mean, it's obviously another take here, but yes, it's the ALW logo, and you'll want to certainly hit the sub button for ALW, and that's all Legendary Wrestling on YouTube, and they're also on Instagram here. And Judas is going for more kicks. Yes, we will certainly move this up a tad more. We'll go right there. There we go. Okay, we'll go to the crutch shot there because we don't want to show that on Sportswire for obvious reasons. We really don't want to get canceled. I actually had to take off, for those that may not know, copyrighted music, we can't play on Sportswire because YouTube actually strikes it down. So I actually had to go back into last night's show with Anthony Steele's new music. I couldn't play it on the air. So that's to let the audience. Yes, no, you cannot play it. You cannot play copyrighted music. You have to mute it. It's a pain in the butt. But I digress. The champion's going for something which is going to eventually lead to where the match ends here shortly. But obviously, he's getting ready. And he took too much time there. You would think for a veteran, he would have put you down, and he didn't do that.
And, of course, getting the referee and our head of security to help you set up your makeshift table, that just proves you're not champion. If you can't do anything by yourself.
He'll win the big one on his own.
And let's face it, all of his title defenses, he's had Jerry by his side. And Holden.
Where was Jerry?
Holden. Thank you for taking care of Jerry.
Opening match, that was a big deal there. That big, what an Iron Man match that was. But this is where.
But I know Holden is not going to sit down and deal with that. And I'll say this right now, Holden, if you are watching, if you need some help against these old geysers, just like Justin and Jerry, Justin Parsley, love you, buddy. But the man that shall not be named, give me a
These
call
relics.
backstage. If you need any help, they want to screw us over and say the new generation isn't it, I'll be glad to help you, Holden.
Boy, he's tossing you around. He's trying to toss you around like a rag doll. And I mean, that splash there. I mean, he's definitely trying to do his own stinger splash there, and he's got you sort of where he wants you, and he's going back to the crowd though. Veteran tactic would have been to continue to stay on offense, but he gets a count, and obviously you are down.
And I'll say, if you want to call him a veteran, why didn't he put his full weight on me for the pin?
I think that there's no question, or a man that's older would have been figuring out to continue to stay on you offensively, not allow you to get back up on your feet. And that's what he did. And he's letting you get back up to your feet. He's letting you get back up. He's basically, and that's, again, not a veteran move there in the ring. That's not a veteran move. The veteran move would have been to continue to get you down on offense. And despite all the blood, all the things you're going through, now we see those karate chops, and the champion now is in an uncomfortable place. And ladies and gentlemen, choke slam to hell, choke slam through that table, and the fans are cheering. They're cheering, and the champion is there's no way he's getting up from this. There's no way on earth. Put it in the books. We have a brand new ALW champion, and obviously he can go pull up or shut up or pull up his pants now, because obviously that man that shall name nameless is down. He is down for the count. And he is certainly a man that was yesterday's news, but it's today's news, and won't show some of the profanity he said about yours on this platform. But we'll obviously let you get the belt, and we'll obviously move on to the remaining minutes of the show. But that was a hard-earned victory. And Ox McCoy says, "I've never seen anyone wrestle with regular glasses on." That's a good question. Has anyone wrestled with regular glasses on? Well, not never. Yeah, I know, that's a good question. Has anybody wrestled with regular glasses on?
The only one I can think off the top of my head is IRS, maybe, but I don't think he wrestled with glasses on while he wrestled.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. IRS. I'm trying to think if anybody else had glasses when they were on. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't know. That's a very good question. Who knows? But yep, you're gonna get the belt.
You need them. Just saying, I wore sports goggles in middle school.
Goggles is different. Yeah, I mean, goggles. Yeah, well, he's wearing goggles. Okay, goggles is a different, dynamic, I suppose. But, it's...
Yeah, I also just want to say, shout out to the 3 different people helping out with the camera. Our normal cameraman, James. Huge shout out to you. He doesn't really get a lot of love with ALW because he wants to behind the scenes, but I'll say it, James, thank you so much for all that you do for ALW and filming all of our shenanigans. Unfortunately, you couldn't make this event, so shout out to the 3 people that took turns helping film so we can get this event posted to the public.
My eyes are too bad to get goggles, literally. I think that's...
Oh, there he is on
How
his
you doing?
son's account because he can't function and make his own YouTube account.
Well, obviously, that's why we're looking at yesterday's news, but we do appreciate yesterday's news for tuning in. But we're a family station, so we're not going to... He'll have to go back and watch the beginning of the show, because I certainly had my own, opinion on what he had to say. But just remember, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's all. But we'll certainly say those are safety glasses prescription. We actually do appreciate safety. We appreciate the slap. Yes, but I did enjoy the match, though, nevertheless. I did enjoy the match. And I thought it was a match that I look forward to seeing more in ALW, at least more of these types of matches. And I think that that's why I'm very excited about Saturday's show upcoming, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah, Saturday, of course, the ladder match with lots of people we shouldn't mention. My open challenge, obviously. I would love to see anyone just come out, 449 David Street. That's all you need. Come out for this belt. And at the end of the show, Justin, I assumed he was trying to get a farewell speech out. And let's just say I'm tired of people ruining my moment.
Darkrai did that last month.
I had
Now
my
it.
on Sportswire, and he wanted to ruin my championship win. So you know what? I'll hug him and say, yeah, you did a good job. Good job, buddy. Here's your participation trophy. Nope. At the end of the day, I'm ALW champion. I'm the guy that will take this company from zero all the way up to the main stage.
I
Maybe.
do want to. Well, I tell you what, I do want to break the fourth wall for a minute because I actually, we had fun with some of the things that Mr. Individual had to say, but I do want to say that yes, he did improve in the match. Actually, I do want to say that he did improve a lot in the match, and I watched the match multiple times, and I really enjoyed it a lot, and that's why we are here to support ALW. And we pray for everybody with their health issues. We had fun with some of the things that I said, but definitely, we really enjoyed the match, and I'm very happy about the future of ALW. And it's all good. It's break the fourth wall. We work very well with ALW, and I definitely think that there was an improvement on this show that we just saw. Nightmare on David Street. Holden was in action. Trey was in action. A lot of good stuff, and we're very happy about it. But yes, I did have fun with some of the things you said about me and obviously my platform. But as I said, if you kind of said it was nothing personal, all is fair in love and war, and all good. So we'll appreciate that. And thank you for everybody here for tuning in. But let me give you the opportunity to say a few final things before we move on. You've been a trooper. You obviously got your own allergies to deal with. So what are some of your final thoughts you want to say on this rather historic show here tonight on Sportswire Radio?
So some of my final thoughts. I am honored once again to be ALW champion. The board of directors, thank you for making it happen. Eventually it would happen, but I'm glad it happened so quick, like almost immediately. I want to give a shout out. I didn't get to say this during the Hall of Fame thing, but shout out to all the veterans that I actually kind of do look up to, like the Jack Deltas of the world. I make jokes about Justin Parsley. He's a phenomenal talent.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Thank you to everybody that has been watching and making the Evil Angel bigger than what I thought it would ever.
Yeah, you've become here in a short amount of time, become a big drawer on here. You've been here like I think 4 times, and you've only been coming on here for like 3 months, and you're like you had a big crowd tonight. You had a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people. You become a regular now,
and I appreciate it. Without Sportswire, without the people that tune in to hear me run my mouth, there would be no hype around the Evil Angel. But enough of this sappy stuff and enough of me giving my heart to ALW. I think it's time for me to actually give my true opinion on the situations at hand. We've talked about Darkron a lot, but I'm not done talking about Darkron. If you guys don't know, Bremen, Ohio is hosting Backyard Havoc in November, 9th and 10th. Now, Darkron, you wanted to attach yourself to me and make yourself relevant again. Now, granted, you just did the same thing with ROEW. You got inducted into the Hall of Fame again. Yay, good job. But with what? What have you done to support ROEW? And granted, you did go to the finals against C-Money in that amazing tournament, but you walked out taking the L, which it happens. I'm sure you have too many in your career to count. But at the end of the day, you right now in Backyard Wrestling, it's like a vintage car. Everybody loves to look at it. Everybody loves to see what it can do. But everybody knows it's just there for show. It can't go anymore. And if you walk out with that international title, and I've already made it very, very clear, you will not walk out with that international title. But if, the slight chance, if you walk out with that title, I will be more than happy to walk out with both the international and world heavyweight championship at the next show, because let's face it, we both know that would eventually happen. This is about to boil over. We already have security helping us backstage to stay away from each other. We have the locker room coming out to stop us from attacking each other. But Darkron, this open challenge, I'm kind of hoping to see you. I'm kind of hoping you'll answer. And I know you won't. I know it will probably be somebody out of the blue. Hopefully Omen Black. That would be fantastic. Evil Angel Boogeyman. Board of directors, get on board with that. But I really hope it is you. And I know I won't be getting you at 100%. I want you at 100%. But you get a slight taste of the Evil Angel. And Jack Delta, when he had his stream live on Sportswire, he said, Judas, yeah, that kid has an attitude problem. He said, if he ever got in the ring with me, it would be a boot to the face, Delta Driver 1, 2, 3. And I told him in that chat, I said, I cannot wait to prove you wrong. Dark Kron, you've been underestimating me for far too long. And it's time that I show you, maybe I show some respect to Jack Delta, and I hit you with a boot to the face. I hit you with a Delta Driver, and I get you for the 1, 2, 3. And maybe I'll even walk out to die MF or die. But Dark Kron,
oh my God!
You're at work right now, Dark Kron. You are trying to get money for your family with Joe Stone and your daughter. I know both of them are looking to go to college. And let's face it, you right now, you're trying to be the best backyard wrestler you can so you can pay for their college educations and so that you can prove that you are a great father to them. However, I am here to show you that you are past your prime and there is no way that you will be able to help your family, because when I'm done with you, Joe Stone, he's already walking in your footsteps. He's already trying to be you. Why don't you just show Joe Stone how much of a failure you actually are? Show your daughter how much of a failure you actually are. Show Forsaken how much of a failure you are. Because Matthew Forsaken, he's told me about how much of a failure you are. And DKW and ROEW, everywhere you've been, he's been giving me all the information I need. So, Dark Kron, I'm sick and tired of all the games. I am sick and tired of you coming into Sportswire saying, oh, well, this kid doesn't know what he's saying. This kid doesn't have any gear. This kid isn't a veteran. Well, I am sick and tired of it because, Dark Kron, I am your ALW champion. And let's face it, if I go anywhere else with you in it, like a ROEW, I'm going to be more successful than you. And I will always be more successful than Dark Kron. So, Dark Kron, keep pretending to be a Jack Delta. Keep pretending to be a Justin Parsley. Keep pretending to be an Evil Angel, because at the end of the day, you're nothing more than just a deadbeat.
Oh my God! Oh my God! You want to talk about Hiroshimas? You want to talk about mic drops? You want to talk about controversy? Judas basically just said tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we sign off, he talked about Dark Kron being a deadbeat and a failure of a father. A failure of a father. Is this gone too far? Is this where the line has been crossed and can never go back? I don't know. I've seen a lot, ladies and gentlemen, over these past several years. But I don't know one wrestler that has said just now what Judas the Evil Angel has said. He has now basically said Dark Kron is a failure of a father. A failure of his father, not only to his son, but to his daughter. We've never heard his daughter mentioned on this platform. This is something, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say other than you need to go to the Backyard Havoc's Instagram page and find out more information. I can assure you, Judas is back on Sportswire in a few weeks. After he successfully defends his championship in this open challenge, he will be back on Sportswire in a few weeks. We will talk about this fallout. We will talk about where we go from here. But Judas will be back on Sportswire in a few weeks. I can assure you on that. But the big question is this gone too personal? Is this where it's a line where it's no turning back? I know one thing. These two men are going to be in Marion together on Saturday. There's going to certainly need a lot of security, a lot of locker room supervision, because maybe, just maybe, the ALW champion Judas and Dark Kron, maybe it's just, I don't even think the state of Ohio is big enough for these two men. I don't even know if these two men can be with each other even in Bremen. Right now, the state of Ohio, I don't think it's big enough for the two of them. We're going to find out this Saturday, first of all, if these two men will cross each other. But I know after what I just heard from Judas, stay tuned. Stay tuned is all you can say. And congratulations, my friend, on all the success. Congratulations on being the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Congratulations on being on top where you belong. And we definitely look forward to seeing you here in a few weeks. And I guess we'll have to see what's left of Mr. Kron, because you basically told the world that, well, Mr. Kron is a failure of a father. He's a failure as a brother. And he's most certainly a failure as a wrestler. And I don't know how Mr. Kron feels about that, but I know one thing. You've shown why you are the future and the present of the backyard wrestling circuit. And until anyone else proves otherwise, Jack Delta, without even doing a single thing, has passed the torch to you. And you may have had your own 8:17 moment, but tonight, you did once again have another moment. It was 9:23, where Judas basically called his own shot and maybe, just maybe, topped anybody, whether it's Anthony Steele, Aaron Blaze, any other young trampoliner, whippersnapper, youth of the backyard, young gun, and maybe those guys, like Anthony Steele and Aaron Blaze, let's say, maybe they want to tread very lightly because Darkron could be joining, let's just say, the antiquery coming to near you real soon. When you see those antique sales or those, let's say, auctions, maybe that's what Darkron's going to be if Judas has his way. Tonight basically showed that could be possible. But congratulations, champ. Congratulations on being the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. This is his page on Instagram. Hit that follow button for him. We'll definitely see what happens this weekend, and we'll definitely see you on Sportswire Radio for sure in a few weeks. And congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Tom, thank you so much, man. Seriously, thank you. Everything that you've done for the Evil Angel Judas, everything you've done for ALW, it's truly appreciated. Whether or not people want to agree with it or not, it is very much appreciated. And Darkron, I'll see you Saturday. That's it. Hey.
See you soon. But he says he'll age like fine wine. We'll have to find out this Saturday.
Bottle, Darkron.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know if I agree about those things about being a failure as a father and a brother and a wrestling promoter, but we'll have to find out all of it. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, we're back here coming up tomorrow or today, depending on where your time zone is, with Sean Jovi to induct Tim Mecca in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. He'll have his own youth of the backyard he'll be dealing with, because those boys in Illinois, those trampoliners, they're going to be here tonight. You rest assured. But my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. Hit the sub button to ALW. Hit the sub button to Sportswire. I'm almost there. I'm a little bit closer to 1,000 subscribers. Help me help ALW. Thank you so much. It's all wrestling matters here. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. See